Hey guys, the WalterFootball.com After the Dark show for March 2nd, 2025. We're going to be talking about the Deebo Samuel trade that happened today, some other stuff as well, and as usual, the nonsense that we get to on Saturday nights. Before we get to everything, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit the link in the description for the merch store. As you can see, I am wearing a Walter Football blue shirt. Which is part of our winter collection here. We have a bunch of new shirts and mugs on the merch store. As let me pull this up real quick. So we have. I showcased some of this a few days ago. We have Dump Roger Goodell, which is it's funny because his last name goes DEI. It's really DEL, but it looks like DEI. So you can get that. You can get some of our mugs. Hindsight's 50-50. This guy's flipping a coin. So, sometimes you have hindsight, sometimes you don't. That's Cam Newton's famous saying. Also, you cannot change the stripes of a leopard. It's something Emmett said, and here is some guy as a paintbrush trying to change the stripes of a leopard. It's not going to go well for him. Also, you can go to Amazon, buy my books. Jerks of the College Years is the most recent one. I spent 6 years at Penn State, and I made fun of a lot of people there. So you guys might be interested in that. Also, how the 2020 MVP was stolen. It's an expose I wrote about how Brett Favre tried to sabotage Aaron Rodgers during Rodgers' 2020 MVP season. So you might want to check that out. And also, please consider super chats, super stickers. That's the best way to support the show. I can't say enough like how much your contributions mean to us. YouTube ads pay nothing. I say that all the time, but they really pay nothing, especially in Q1 here. It's like if we don't get a super chat, it's like 75 cents, like 85 cents. It's pretty bleak. So I can go outside and, and find change and equal that amount. But yeah, I mean, we've had some great contributions, most recently from John Sanders, Degeneron, Slew, the boss, and then Can Make an Eagle and Alan Stafford as well. So yeah, once again, guys, thank you so much. And by the way, I'm wearing this new headset. I don't know if you guys noticed or may have heard a difference. Guys, let me know what you think about this. It's kind of weird because I can't hear myself as well. But apparently Tom said it's better audio, so I thought I'd try it out. But anyway, speaking of Tom, he is joined. He's joining us tonight, I should say. Quacky, how's it going?
Walter, it's great to be back after a week off. Hello to you and hello to everyone joining us in the Walter football family. We've got a lot to get to. Hey, I was thinking I got this email the other day from the Social Security Administration and
Okay.
it said, "Help us slam the scam. National Slam the Scam Day, March 6, 2025." I don't know what that is, nor did I check out the link, but it got me thinking. What was the first scam that you were ever aware of? Because I mean, I feel like everything in life is a scam now. But I mean, the Nigerian prince emails. Remember when they used to send you the email? They said they were a rich Nigerian prince.
Oh yeah.
What was it though? And then they would say they're going to share the wealth with you, but you have to like forward them money of some kind. Was it? Is that how it went?
Yeah, the first time I got that, I was I think I was a sophomore in college, or maybe it was junior. And I got this email. Of course, is like my parents were overthrown by people in Somalia, and we're related. And if you help send me money, I will give you $50 million. And obviously, it seemed like a scam. But at the same time, I'm like, this is the first time I ever saw anything like this. I'm like, wait a second, maybe there's a 0.001% chance that this is correct. Of course, I didn't send it to him. I think the first scam was when I was a kid, like they used to send out those like, hey, you could get 13 cars for like $1, like one of those like mailers or something, or you get like 1,000 CDs for $5. It's like, okay, like what do I have to do here? Like, I don't know. I didn't fall for it. Or I guess like the first time I'm like, Mom, what's this? She's like, this is trash. Like, don't pay attention to it. So I'm sure you got this mail too.
1,000 CDs for $5.
Yeah.
That's quite a deal. Hey, Cassandra's saying that you're trouble there.
You're at 1/3 the volume compared to Tom, all treble. All right, if this is not working, I'll plug in my my other stuff. So
yeah,
we'll do that. So
well,
keep
if you
for a second.
oh yeah, well, no problem. So You know what I was thinking about, because back in the day I used to play. I'm talking about, I mean, not long after we met, maybe like 06, 07, 08. I was playing online. I was playing a decent bit of online poker at the time, and I remember in 2007 especially, I would get, not that I won that much, but necessarily, but they would mail me a paper check, and I had M&T Bank at the time, and it always went through, but every now and then they would ask me questions. Like, I remember one time I went in there, and they said, and this was after they maybe sent like 10 of these checks through already, and then they questioned me when I went to put it in there, and the teller asked me, she said, "Are you sure you won the money?" And I thought that was an interesting question, speaking of scams, because it makes me think, and I think that's what you were maybe just alluding to, was you ever get like those, like the local like car dealership will send you something and it'll be like, you're approved. It looks like a check, but it's,
Yeah.
it says like, you've been approved for $30,000, but it looks, but like the you've been approved for is like in smaller print, and it looks like a check. I could see somebody falling for, like, it's definitely a non-zero number, and by non-zero I mean a lot. People, probably a good amount of people have taken that to the bank and thought, hey, like, I just won. That's actually kind of sad, because imagine the excitement. Like, imagine, especially like that's a lot of money. $30,000, $40,000, whatever they pre-approve you for, and you're going to the bank like, oh my god, and what a letdown, man. That's horrible. That's like my buddy Nick was telling me. This is the scam show. This is what we do during the off season. No, but my buddy Nick, remember like back in the day in the internet, late 90s, and so you're the 1 millionth viewer to this website. I mean, I'm sure they have something like those pop-ups, like balloons are all over the screen, confetti's going off. And my buddy Nick said, like, the first time he saw it, he was like, "Oh my god!" He's like, "I won." He's like, the balloons are flying.
Oh my god!
It's like I can see how you could fall for that.
Yeah,
especially back then.
How's my audio? I just plugged this in.
I mean, it still sounds just as fine to me.
Okay. Well, it's Cassandra, if you want to let us know, or anyone else if you want to let us know.
We appreciate the feedback, guys.
This feels more normal to me. Like I couldn't. Was that a dog?
Yeah, I'm dog sitting for my dad, okay. So they're here in the room. I may have to let them out in a second, but
okay,
maybe I will. Can you fill up the time for 15 seconds?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah, that was a weird experience with this new headset. Like I said, my wife got me it. The sound, if I'm listening to music, it sounds a lot better, and Tom was coming in a lot clearer too. I don't know why my volume was bad, but it was what really threw me off was like I couldn't really hear myself talk, and now that kind of like in the intro that threw me off. Like, I don't know how I feel about that, but I think if I'm listening to music, I'll wear that. What I really need is a new microphone. I used to have one, like if you look at like videos from like 2-3 years ago, I used to have this like snowball looking thing, but Kenny's actually sent that to me like 7 years ago or 8 years ago, and it worked fine for a while, but it broke. Yeah, I'll have to get a new one. I don't know where it might be over there. So I can't,
that old snowball mic. I remember I used to see the thumbnails of your show. Mm-hmm. I thought you had like a big gulp in front of you. Like it looked like a cup. Like I thought you were just like, oh, I got my drink like nearby, and it was just in the shot.
That's funny. I should do that as a gag.
I thought that for. I want to say I thought that for many years.
Just had a big gulp. Like,
I don't know why I thought, or like not a big gulp, like exactly specifically, but like a cup. Maybe you had a cup and it was like customized and like a novelty cup sort of thing that looked like a convenience store fountain soda. I don't know. You know how your brain draws conclusions. Is that just me?
Maybe that should be my new look. I should get one all the time. Hey, I always have soda here anyway. Look, I have that. Look, not that I want to promote Pepsi. They're not sponsored, so if they want to sponsor the show, I'll promote them. Yeah. I will do it this time, though. I love this thing. This Pepsi.
The classic logo.
Yeah, the one, not the classic logo, but rather the one with the real sugar, and not the high fructose corn syrup.
Okay.
Nonsense like that. I don't know why they put high fructose corn syrup and everything. I guess because of the corn subsidies and everything, but. The Pepsi with the real sugar, it tastes so much better than the regular one. Like I was getting soda at the supermarket, or among other things. And I was like getting 2 Pepsi, like 12 packs of cans. And then I saw the one with the real sugar. I'm like, oh my god, like I love this stuff. And so I just dumped the regular Pepsi, and I got that. It does not disappoint. It's so good. I really hope they get rid of this high fructose corn syrup. It's just so terrible. It's like bad for you. It's bad for you, and it tastes bad. Like I don't. Again, it's the corn subsidies, but really, like, there's no reason to keep having this. So hopefully RFK takes care of it. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm drinking water out of a Miami Dolphins cup I bought at the dollar store.
What, did they not have the Packers?
No, this was the only team they had. So, but there was like 3 of them for $1, and they're pretty good cups. So go Dolphins.
Go Dolphins. You're gonna be disappointed by Tua, unfortunately.
Oh, that's not. I'm not trying to hear that, man. I'm supporting them with the dollar store. Sometimes you get. What were we saying? Oh, I was talking about the checks with the cars. How that's got to be a huge letdown, man. I that makes me feel sad for people.
Yeah.
How many times would you say that's happened? You think like less than like 1,000, or I mean, do you think it's a lot?
Well, it's happened to me. I mean, I used to get checks in the mail from advertisers, and I'd open a letter and be like, "Oh, cool! I get to go to the bank and submit, cash, deposit this check." And I'm like, "Oh, crap! It's not a check from an advertiser. It's a stupid car thing that's not real." Like, I guess I'm not going to the bank today.
But here's the thing. Okay, while that is hilarious, but like that's a little bit different where you're getting checks. Like that's a common thing. You're kind of expecting a check, and you may not be just like, okay, like looking at something, you're like, okay, maybe you have a few, maybe you get a couple that you're taking to the bank at once. Mm-hmm. You're not sitting there like, oh my God, like what is this? So that's a little bit different. That's more an honest mistake. Like, yeah, it's a letdown of sorts, but it's an I would categorize that as an oversight, not as you weren't like calling up your wife like, honey, like you're not going to believe this,
There has to be a lot of people have done it. Like otherwise they wouldn't do it. I like how low IQ like do you have to be to are you like Kamala Harris level? Like this was she duped like a million times by it? Like I feel like there's got to be like a certain like level of stupidity there. I don't know.
I can see if you're in the wrong. Like if it might just be like the bad timing. Like because even the smartest of people can do dumb things. It happens like to the best of us. Yeah. And like if the timing just kind of hit you right and you were I don't know like just scattered that day and like I had a friend who said his girlfriend her mom got like a scam text and it said like, hey, it's whatever I can't remember his girlfriend's name. It's me, like it's your daughter. Like I lost my phone, like this, like I need help. Like, can you just send me like $200? And she's texting from a strange number, and I can see, I'm as a parent, you might be like, oh my God, like my child needs my help, right. And not really think it through real quick. And then later be like, oh my God. So something like that. I think that's more. I would still be skeptical, but I can definitely see if it catches you off guard, you might just go into like protective mode as a like, oh, like I need to give my kid help. I can see how someone would fall for that. Like the local car dealership sent me $30,000. I don't think so. Like, what are they going to? Like, why would I be like, what are they just out of the goodness of their heart decided to send me 30 G's?
Like, the Nigerian prince is
yeah. He's trading in the Oldsmobile Cutlass.
It's a real guy. Like, I wonder if that's like the opposite of that. Like, what if there is like a real Nigerian prince who actually needs the help to get in this country? Like, how does he sound legit? And he's like, my life has been ruined by these scams. I can't get into this country.
Yeah, we're sending it to like the wrong guy. So he's out there catfishing people. Oh, yeah, the Nigerian prince was trying to trade in his Dodge Dart and give you the. Yeah, no, that's what I would do. You know what? We should run a scam where I'll act as the Nigerian prince and I'll be like, I'll go to the local car dealership, be like, you guys sending out those ads with the fake checks. I'll be like, okay, first off, like you'll be receiving like a check from this, from like Bobby Hacksaw, like Honda, for $30,000, and someone might get it and they'll be like, oh, okay, this Prince dude is legit. Bang, we got him.
No.
No, I would never, of course. Oh my
Well,
god.
Patrick's saying it's actually insane timing. My parents got scammed this week.
Oh no. Gee, now I
But
feel like
thankfully they're financially well off. I think they prey on the older generation who aren't as familiar with technology. Yeah, that's definitely true. Patrick, how did your parents get scammed? That
yeah,
sucks.
sorry to hear that, Patrick.
Yeah, that sucks. I
Yeah.
wonder how they got scammed. But I used to, of course, I answer all emails and like spam emails on the site during the Pix page. And I've actually sent out fake money to these scammers. I actually I sent out like Monopoly money to one guy. He's not happy.
I used to get these scams on like dating apps. I remember especially like, I mean, they're still there, but you used to get these scams on dating apps. It wasn't. It's actually not the dumbest of scams as far as not getting caught or like reported by the dating site, because what they'll do is the girl will like match with you, message you about 2 sentences and say, hey, let's exchange numbers, or message on another platform, and then they unmatch you on the app, so you can't go back and report them to the app.
Okay.
So, and then they'll say, hey, like I do private massages or something. It's and we'll be naked like while we do it. It's $200, but you have to give me 50% up front first, like through Cash App or whatever, and then I'll give you my address so you can come over. It's like, you think I was born freaking yesterday?
Is that how like Justin Tucker got into the situation?
I shouldn't have. But
Was
no,
he like,
I don't.
Did he get these emails like, oh wow, we get to like have sex like during this?
Yeah, I don't. But there's no. I mean, I guess people fall for that. I wouldn't doubt it. It's most of those scammers are dudes. Just put up pictures of hot girl, like
100%.
you know.
Yeah.
That's so weird. I guess if you just don't have a lot of experience with women, you might be like, oh my god, like this girl wants to give me a massage. Like, it's definitely working on somebody.
Yeah. No. Again, if they wouldn't do it if it didn't work.
Right. I just.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I mean, I've gotten some like fake and I've actually like made Jerks of the Week entries about it. I've gotten like fake like matches on like some dating site that I never even applied to, or someone who doesn't like me applied myself to it. Or like it could be either one. It could be either one, really. Mm-hmm. But it's like one time it was like all dudes like in their 50s. And so it's like I forget like the name they chose for me. It's like Gwenna or something stupid. Like it's a name that I never heard of. It's like, hey, we found some matches for you. It's like Philip in his 60s and he's like smoking a cigar. I'm like, oh wow, this is a real hunk here. So and then sometimes I get like Asian girls. But by the way, have you noticed on Twitter that like maybe I'm getting these. Maybe if guys in the chat, if you've seen these as well, let me know. But have you seen these like advertisements for like hot Asian girls or like or sometimes weird looking Asian girls? And they go like, my name is so and so. I love eating. I'm from Japan. Please like me and follow me or something. Have you seen those?
I don't think I've seen those specifically, but I've seen a lot of the AI girlfriends that are like, oh, like tell me what you want me to do, or like you dress them up or whatever. I've seen a good bit of those. I haven't seen them for a couple weeks, but for like a week or so, I saw them pretty regularly because I have a lot of thoughts on the AI girlfriends. It's such a that occupies such a unique space in media. It's really strange. We can get into that in a second, but I haven't seen the one that you're talking about necessarily.
I have to find them. Some of them are weird. Like some of them are like, those Asian girls are hot, but like some of them, like, I don't know. I don't like really get the point of them because they're not like, I thought at first they were like porn or something, maybe like an OnlyFans sort of deal, but for like Asian girls. But like, and I just go, okay.
Is it real girls or is it like AI images?
No, I think it's real girls. I mean, like they have different pictures of themselves with other people. It's like I just clicked on their profile out of curiosity because I just didn't know what they were advertising, and like I don't think they're advertising anything. They're just like, hey, here's a picture of me and my friends. Like, I'm like, why are you trying to get pay for followers? I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when you leave like some of the posts and like shorts that people make, you leave it so ambiguous, it just generates enough intrigue. People wonder like what the hell it is, and they get traffic that way, I guess.
I don't know. I'm trying to find. Of course, I can't find it now. Like it's been all over my Twitter feed. Like that's all I've seen. It's like different girls. It's so weird. I don't know. Or maybe they know it's Asian girls or something. But I don't know. But, they scan my porn on my computer.
Yeah. Oh, Mike's ready for some football. I'm sorry, Mike.
Yeah.
You know how it goes with me. You know what you signed up for. I appreciate you being here, man. How you doing?
Yeah, for sure. For 1 second, I just wanted to get to what Patrick was saying. They called my dad and they started manipulating his account in real time and said he was going to get a felony if he didn't pay it. I think it was the urgency of the tone and that. That sucks.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, just I mean, like definitely. I mean, obviously everyone listening to this knows this, but yeah, it's the old people that fall victim to it. But yeah, definitely make sure that you don't give any information to people out there. And you know, if they threaten you, just say screw off. Like you know, like you can come to my house if you know if you want, you know, if you have some issues or something.
Really?
Yes. Anyway, yeah. Mike says Watson Tucker fell for that private massage thing. 100% sure. Sue says I thought you were promoting Sunsip. I didn't find them in the store. They're not in the store. I would have bought it if I saw it in the store. I didn't see it. But anyway, as I continue to look for those Asian semi-porn commercials, we had some news today that Deebo Samuel. This occurred actually during the combine. Like they were running drills and stuff, and they reported the news. And like when Ian Rappaport first came on, and they're like, we have a trade. Like, you know, they always goof around. Like they have those like comedians in the booth. I don't know if you watched the combine, but they had like David Spade on today. They had some Joey Monorano. I think that's his name. Like he's an impersonator. He's pretty good. They've had a lot of guests on. And so like they do a lot of like clowning around too. And so I thought when they're like, we have a trade, I thought they were going to be like, oh, we traded in our one analyst for another or something. I thought it was going to be like a joke.
Yeah.
But it was actually a real NFL trade and a significant one. The Redskins acquired Deebo Samuel, receiver from the Niners, obviously, for a 5th round pick. So yeah, I mean, Deebo was in like trade consideration for a while now. Like they've been talking about it, and really mainly because the Niners need cap space because they have a lot of players to resign, including the quarterback. Now, if you look at like their actual like cap number, like they have cap space, but they have to resign Brock Purdy. They have to resign a bunch of players, and so like despite that, they still need the cap space. So yeah, they shipped off Deebo to the Redskins for a 5th round pick. The odds on the Redskins, I tweeted this out. They were 24-1 on FanDuel before the trade, and now they're 19-1 on FanDuel. Some people pointed out to me in that post that like Caesars still has 20-1. I haven't that's when the trade happened. I haven't actually checked since then. You know, it might have changed in the past few hours, so I'll check now. But yeah, I mean, this is what I was talking about before. Why I bet the Redskins at 20-1 at first, and then 24-1 or 23-1. Now it's 24-1. I did that because they have so much cap space that they're going to make some big moves, and I don't think they're done. I still think they're the favorite to get Myles Garrett. I still think that they can get like a Ronnie Stanley or another lineman, and yeah, I think they have a ton of potential this year. So. What are your thoughts on the trade with everything? Yeah, by the way, the Redskins are still 20-1 on Caesars.
Yeah, I'm surprised it really didn't move at all or much. I think this is really huge for them. You know what I really, you know what I'm wondering now is, do you think they have Super Bowl matchup props already? How about Washington and the Ravens? An well, I guess DC is technically its own, but an all Maryland sort of thing, Super Bowl. But that could definitely happen. I'm very surprised they're still 20-1 after this. I think this is, I mean, why do you, I thought they could get more than a 5th round pick for it though. Or maybe, I don't know. This is your wheelhouse, not mine. I mean, I'm surprised you gave them a B- there, the 49ers.
Really?
You don't think they could have gotten like a 3rd round or something?
I wrote that they get a 4th rounder. So, I mean, if it's, you know, 1 round, it's not a big deal. The problem with Deebo is, I mean, it's like twofold. One, he's had some injuries over the years. He was really banged up last year. He got some sort of injury against the Chiefs in the middle of the season, and then he just never was the same after that. So and like this tends to happen to him. Plus, it's not like he's a young player or anything like that. He's 29. He just turned 29. So yeah, I mean, he's gonna be declining soon. So it's not like they're getting some young player. And I saw today, Clarence Hill is like, I'm probably one of the dumbest reporters out there. He reported that he's like, oh, the Cowboys got a 4th round pick and the Niners got a 5th round pick for Deebo. Or the Cowboys gave up a 4th round pick for Jonathan Mingo, and the Niners got a 5th round pick for Deebo. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, there's obviously nuance to this. Like, yeah, he had the injuries, he had the age. Jonathan Mingo, I don't think is a good player, but he's really young. He's very cheap, and just like he just has some upside at least. And I know Deebo has like temporary upside, but it's going to be gone soon. So there was that. I think that if you look at like potential downsides, like you have the age, you have the injury factor, those two things, plus the money. You have to pay him a lot of money too. So like all those 3 factors, I think that what are the result of like why the Niners didn't get much trade value for him. And then another thing is that the Niners didn't have much trade leverage because, like, first of all, teams knew that they had to unload him because they have to sign these players, and they have young receivers like Juwan Jennings. They still have Brandon Ayuk, although he's injured, and then they have Ricky Pearsall. So they have other receivers, and so the Niners could really, they could afford to let Deebo go, and he's expensive. So, it's like people knew that they were going to trade him, so there was no trade leverage. Which still, I think they could have gotten a 4th round pick. And for the Redskins, that 5th round pick is going to be pretty late. So, yeah, I mean, B-. You could talk me into a C+. I don't think this is a bad trade for the Niners because it's going to allow them to have a lot of flexibility to re-sign players. And I think they could add some players in free agency as well as a result of this. So, they could strengthen other positions where, especially the offensive line, which has been like a big weakness for them outside of Trent Williams. They really need some help in the interior there. They could use some more defensive linemen. The pressure rate was pretty low this year, despite Nick Bosa being there. They could add some corners. So this is going to give them some good flexibility, and they get to trade a player who's going to be on the decline soon. So it does make sense for them, but at the same time, like, they could have gotten more. And I definitely think the Redskins won this trade.
Well, I hope Deebo goes off for Washington and San Francisco regrets it. I hate that stupid team. I really do. I'd be happier than a pig and slop if that happened. I mean, I can't believe that it's still, again, that it's still 20-1. Maybe I'll get on that wagon with you.
Is that Niners hatred only because you're a Packer fan, or
yes.
Okay,
I admit.
Okay, fair enough. So
dumb colors. Continue.
Dumb colors. You don't like the red and gold?
I don't like their colors. Yeah.
Okay.
She's like, okay.
I'm trying to find this stupid Asian porn thing. I think I have it like saved here because I was gonna write a Jerks of the Week on it.
Like now that we're talking about it, we can't find it.
Yeah. Okay, I have the thing here. I'm gonna pull it up here in a second. So just because I want to like justice. So this is the account that's been advertising. It's some girl here, and so like it's just pictures of her, but like it says.
What's Jason Voorhees doing there in the other picture?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. Like, what is it?
Oh, it looks more like Michael Myers. I couldn't see it at first.
Yeah. So the advertisement is, I'm Susanna Amamaya, 18 years old. I like bearded dragons and keep them. Thank you for your likes. Please follow me. And I'm so I'm gonna do a Jerks of the Week entry on this, but like this is all I've been seeing. Like this and like other Asian girls are like, I'm so and so. Follow me. Thanks for the likes. And like I don't get this. Like, what is she advertising here? I don't know. I just don't like. Maybe if I read this language, I could probably figure it out. I don't know. Someone can read this. I don't know if this is Chinese or Asian or Korean or Japanese. I don't know what this is.
Right. I don't have the first clue either.
By her name, it seems Japanese to me, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's that. I have not seen that. Now I'm gonna see 1,000 of them. I'm sure as soon as the
Oh
show's
yeah,
over.
oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's really interesting. Maybe I mean, maybe I'll check it out. Oh yeah, how about next show? I'll do a full report. I'll subscribe to it,
No, yeah.
and I'll come back.
No,
I'll be like, Walter, I have a new
I feel like
girlfriend or
this.
something.
Why, like, Walt, this is the best account I've ever
Yeah,
seen in my
yeah.
life.
It's like I have an AI girlfriend now.
Right? Yes, seriously. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just
Yeah, I
she
don't
doesn't look
know.
like AI, but I don't know. But I
It's so hard
will.
to. Who knows what's real anymore, man?
Yeah, I don't know.
Just
I mean, we 2 weeks ago, then we talked about how this could be a simulation. Like this could all be
yeah. I
fake.
mean, but I don't know. Like sometimes, I mean, I would say I can. I guess you should never say never or always. So I can always tell if it's an AI image, but
Yeah.
it's probably not true. Like I'm sure I've been fooled and I just haven't realized it. But like sometimes you can use like you might have to give it a glance or two because you can tell like something's off about it.
Hmm.
But like I don't know. I mean, it's only going to get better, right? Maybe it's going to get better before we realize it gets better. Like that's part of the curve. Maybe that's what's happening to me now. Why don't we just write like another Twilight Zone episode about this?
I think that'd be cool. No, I don't know if you saw that video about like Donald Trump Jr. was talking to some, I forget who, but he was like this, giving money and weapons to Ukraine was stupid. We should have given money and weapons to Russia because they're stronger than Ukraine and they could have ended the war quicker. So this video, like people were freaking out about it, and it turned out to be AI, and like
Wow.
so many people were fooled by it. It's kind of crazy though. Like 2 years ago, when you were making AI pictures, the people whose pictures you were posting were like grotesque people with like 6 fingers and like their face was like melting
Right,
away.
right.
And like
Yeah.
now it's like it seems almost real. Like you can, I think you could still tell a little bit, but it's pretty tough now, I think.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
No, for sure. It's yeah, because I remember there would always be when you would see those pictures, there'd be something strange in the picture or something that didn't quite make sense or didn't quite look right, and you could tell pretty easily. But still, it was interesting to see because a lot of it was very accurate.
mhm.
A lot of times, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Sometimes. What if all of the people in the live chat are just bots? We've been talking to them all this time. That would no,
There are
just
a lot of
kidding.
bots out there. Well, not in here, but there are a lot of bots out there on like Twitter and stuff like that. Like
Mhm.
the people who reply to you, it's like some of them are not real. And yeah, it's tough to know the difference sometimes.
Have you ever seen the movie Ex Machina?
No.
You should watch it. You'd really like it, I think.
Okay.
It's really good. This guy, he works for I don't know some sort of computer company, and in the beginning, the first scene is so well done where he wins this trip to go off to like the CEO's estate. And the only way to get there is by helicopter, and he does this Turing test of this AI. It's a person. It's a girl, and he won this contest. The employee, and it's the whole movie is his interactions with the CEO, and he's basically helping. I don't want to give too much away, but it's a Turing test for this AI, and he talks to it, and it's really a really good movie. Ex Machina, it's called. I highly recommend it.
Okay. I'll check it out if I get a chance. Have you seen a lot, or is that like because I know some movies and stuff you like to watch a lot.
Yeah, I've probably seen it like 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
It's not. It's. I don't know. I mean, I really really like it, but it's not like a movie I can. A lot of it's usually documentaries that I can watch. Every night for 3 months straight. But this one wasn't one of them.
Anyway, speaking of movies and shows, Patrick asking, well, have you had the chance to watch final episodes of Cobra Kai? I feel like it wrapped up well, but the show was just dragging out and way too long and lost excitement of earlier seasons. I have not seen it yet. My wife and I don't have a lot of time to watch TV just because with the 2 kids, but we are watching Squid Game season 2, and we are in like the middle of episode 5. I think there are only 7 episodes, unfortunately. I think, but yeah, we're in the middle of episode 5. So far, it's pretty good. There are a couple things in there that's like not like crazy about. Like, there's a trans person for some reason in there, and so like it's like fine, but whatever. It's like they actually like talk about it, and like some old lady doesn't understand, and like one of the characters like, oh, you need money for your surgery, and the old lady's like, surgery for what? And like, it's like, come on, like what? Like, you're like wasting dialogue on this, like it's so stupid. But otherwise, like, the show still has the same like tense moments, and you wonder if the characters are going to die or not. Of course, like the team with the main characters is not going to die. In the second game, they have to like, it's like a five-legged race, like between like five people have to like tie their legs together, and they have to walk around and play mini games and stuff. And like, of course, the team with the main character, they get through the finish line with like 1 second left. And like, yeah, they just manage to survive. Like, it's like at the same, like on one hand, it's pretty exciting because like some of the ancillary characters could die, and like you want to like them, but like with 7 episodes, it's kind of hard to like establish characters and stuff. On the other hand, like you kind of know that the main character is going to survive at least until like the final episode. Like maybe in episode 7, I'll be more worried about him, but right now, like that he's not going to die. So I don't know. I mean, it's still pretty good. It's not as good as season 1 was, but like Squid Game season 1 was pretty terrific. Although I will keep saying that Alice in Borderland was better.
Yeah, I remember you said you really liked that one too. I have yet to check it out. I watched Squid Game season 1, and I did like it. I thought it was very good, yet I still found it overrated. And I don't know if I can get through another season of it, but I've heard it's pretty good overall.
Yeah.
But
go ahead. Squid Game 2 is kind of BS, as it's really just part 1 of the season. Oh, okay. Also, the trans character, of course, pissed off leftists, as the actor is 100% male, not trans. Okay, I didn't know that. But I don't know. It's still like unnecessary dialogue to have it with it. Like why do we have to have this discussion? Like you can really have like any sort of discussion like that. But anyway,
look at Mike here. Mike says he's not a bot. Mike, that's exactly what a bot would say.
To John saying that.
Oh no.
Mike, I'm not a bot because I'm just slow and Sanders could be.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's exactly what a bot would say, Mike. And John's too boring. I don't know.
Well,
that's exactly what a bot would say too. Yeah, that's exactly what a bot could say too, John. So no, we love you. We love you guys. Yeah, we're glad you're here. Bot or not. Remember hotornot.com? We should start botornot.com and just take screenshots of the emails or messages that you get. You think this is a bot or no? Dude, actually that could work.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, no one steal. We trademarked it right now. It's Quacky Walter property now.
Well, Battlestar Galactica is basically that. Like, they didn't know who was a Cylon or not, as in like a robot.
Yeah.
And like even the ones who were robots, they didn't know. They were like eventually triggered to become self-aware. But for the majority of the show, like the 5 main robots or Cylons, like they didn't know, and it was like a huge reveal to like not just the audience but also to them at toward like the end of the show. So it's kind of cool. Like, yeah, you could be a bot, but you may not know. That's what I was saying before. That's with the whether this is simulation or not.
That's what I'm trying to say. What if like one day, like 10 years from now, I keep going on living in my life, showing up on Saturday nights on the Walter Football After Dark show, and just like one day I'm like rubbing my arm and like I peel off and I'm a robot, and I didn't realize it all this time. That would really be something.
That would
I mean, I don't think that's the case, but that thought has crossed my mind.
Would a bot do super chat?
I don't know. You might be one of the advanced models, Lou.
The advanced ones only do super chats.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the kind of bots we want.
Yeah, exactly.
We appreciate you, Slew.
Yeah. So Mike says Redskins Ravens Deep State Bowl. Chris says I love Quacky, but let's not get into the Ravens ever reaching a Super Bowl during the Mahomes era. Yeah, I have a tough time seeing the Ravens get there. They're gonna probably lose Ronnie Stanley this offseason, so it's gonna hurt them. Plus, they had issues stopping the pass. Despite what like Evan and I we argued about during our Tuesday nights. Whenever they played a good passing offense, they usually struggled. And so late in the year they didn't, but for most of the season they did. So they have to take care of that issue too. I have them in my group B as I did last year. I still think they're a good team. I still think they're going to make the playoffs unless Lamar Jackson gets hurt. But at the same time, I don't think they're top tier. So I feel like they're going to lose in the probably second round of the playoffs again. I think it's probably like a safe bet that that's going to happen. John saying Deebo for just the fifth feel better about giving up Diggs for his second now. Yeah, quite the difference, huh? And they're about I think Stephon Diggs is even older than Deebo, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's 31 now, so they traded him when he was 30. So you're older, and I think Diggs is a better player, granted, but still, you're trading an older, you're getting a second for older receiver when a receiver is a year younger, just got a fifth. So that's it's a great trade for Buffalo for sure. But unfortunately, as John pointed out throughout the year, that the second round pick, which was like everyone thought maybe like 33 to 40, like it ended up being like late in the second round, but still better in the fifth, right?
True. Wow. Yeah, that's Buffalo Bills luck, as John always loves to point out.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Redskins Ravens can play the inaugural Ukraine game. I like it. Although, which reminds me of I still like this shirt that I have to point out that we have is this might be our new best selling shirt. Kenny liked it a lot. Make football American again. Yeah, you can get that. I have not ordered yet. Yeah, I was gonna order this. I'm gonna get this. I think you can get it in a hoodie. I'm not sure.
Nothing would make me happier than to have an England game every single week.
Yeah, I think you can get it in a hoodie. I think. Let me see.
I know you love.
It's not gonna be red, but yeah, it's not gonna be red, but yeah, still pretty good. So anyway, yeah. So I mean, as far as the Redskins are concerned, like, do you think this makes them like substantially better? Or, like, I mean, obviously still early in the offseason and like they have a lot of work to do, but now instead of like Olamide Zaccheaus and De'Ami Brown and Noah Brown, Jaden Daniels is going to have Deebo instead of those guys, in addition to Terry McLaurin. So I have to think it's going to be better for them, right?
I definitely think so too. I mean, Deebo, yeah, he may have had some injuries this past season, but I mean, he was on the team for both Super Bowl runs, right? I mean, if nothing, he's going to give a lot of veteran presence too to that young team. I mean, that could not for nothing.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I don't see how this can hurt them at all. I think it makes them more dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And they're already a good team. Like maybe they were like they got a little further than they should have. Like Detroit had so many injuries and they played their worst game, and Washington played its best game. So they if they play that game 100 times, they probably lose to Detroit more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
But still, like this year is the year that if they're going to make a big leap, it's going to be this year. Because we've seen it so many times the second-year quarterbacks. Like Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl in the second year. Joe Burrow got to the Super Bowl in the second year. Carson Wentz was leading the team to a Super Bowl before he got hurt. He was MVP front runner. You see it so often with these second-year players. Like C.J. Stroud didn't quite make that move, but still, I mean, I think more often than not, like a talented quarterback is going to make a big jump in the second year. And Jaden Daniels is already playing well, and now he's going to have even more weapons than he did. And then we'll see what they do with the rest of their money. Like I think this is like really promising here for Washington, and still it's like 20-1 is still a really good value. Like that number's going to disappear if they get Myles Garrett or something. He's going to go somewhere, but like I said before, I think the Redskins are still the favorite again.
How do you like? There's surprise teams every single season. What do you think for this season? What do you think the Carolina Panthers could be one of those surprise teams this year? I don't know. I even though they lost a lot of games, what were they finished 5-12 or was it 4-13? But I mean, once Bryce Young came back, I mean they covered against some really good teams, and so I feel like there's a chance that they definitely played a lot better. I don't know. What do we? Let's see what you got here.
Well, I'm looking at the odds. I don't know. I mean, let's start at the bottom and like we could try to maybe like figure out who's going to be that surprise team. It's kind of hard to say right now because like free agency hasn't happened yet, and obviously the draft hasn't happened yet either. But like you start at the bottom with the Giants. Like, do you think the Giants before we get to this, I wanted to answer this question because it kind of connects with this. John's asking Aaron Rodgers to the Giants, Raiders, or Titans. He's your former quarterback. Do you have any sense of where he's going to go?
I saw they put up a sign in Pittsburgh. It said, "Don't trade Aaron Rodgers to the." I mean, it was a Photoshop, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that it's going to be interesting to see what the Giants do in the draft. But I mean, if they don't, I mean, I think they need a lot. But is Rodgers really gonna help them? I mean,
Probably not.
I just doubt that he wants to go there. You know, I mean well, actually, to any of those teams, honestly. But
I mean, his options are pretty limited. You know what Rodgers is probably at this point? He's probably Peyton Manning in 2015 when Manning took the Broncos, quote unquote, took the Broncos to the Super Bowl and won against the Panthers. But like he was like the last he was the least important thing on that team because like Brock Osweiler outplayed him. When he was injured.
Brock was the man. What a legend.
Was he the man, or was just Manning that bad and like he looked good by comparison?
No. Dude, Brock earned it. 5-2 when he started.
Yeah, but Manning had a good record too.
I don't want to hear it, Brocco.
No, like Manning lost all of his skill that year, but he was still a good game manager, and I think that's like what Rodgers has to be at this point. Like, if he goes to a good team, let's just say like right now there are no options for him. Let's like hypothetically say. Let's take like the Chiefs for example. Like if Mahomes gets hurt in the preseason, is out for the year. Like what do the Chiefs do? Like they could try, like Rodgers is still available. I don't think he will be, but like hypothetically speaking, like if they sign Rodgers, I mean that's better than what they have. Like I mean Carson Wentz is there, but still like I think that Rodgers could be like a good game manager for that team. And maybe that's a bad example because like the Chiefs don't have that much talent at like receiver and tight and offensive line. Maybe a team like the Eagles, for example. Like if Jalen Hurts goes down, like Rodgers could come in. He'll have AJ Brown. He'll have Devontae Smith. He'll have Saquon Barkley. He'll have Dallas Goedert. You'll have a great offensive line. I think that's the ideal situation for him at this point. Like he's 42, right? Is he 42? So like he's not gonna like lead a mediocre team deep into the playoffs anymore. Like he could have done that 3 or 4 years ago. Like that's not gonna be the case anymore. But he can like pilot this great offense that with great talent and just like be like the kind of like the mediocre point guard who's on a team like that's stacked with talent. Kind of like Eric Snow was for the Sixers, like when they had Allen Iverson, Dikembe Mutombo. Like he could be like that sort of player and just be like good enough to be not hurt the team, but not great enough to like be a big difference maker. Like I think that's where Rodgers is at this point in his career. But there's no place for him right now, especially with as Chris pointed out, Stafford restructured to stay with the Rams. Like if Stafford left, like that the spot for the Rams would have been perfect for Rodgers because he would have had Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams. They had a bunch of young receivers too. They have a really good offensive line, especially with Alaric Jackson re-signing, and plus Sean McVay's there. Like that would have been a great spot for Rodgers, but that's taken up. And so like these options that John Sanders put out, like Giants, they stink. Like they have Malik Neighbors and like Tyron Tracy look good, but that's it. They have one good offensive lineman, and like this
Illuminor.
Yeah, okay, two good offensive linemen. Like one great offensive lineman. Thomas is always hurt, and then Illuminor, sure. Raiders, like they have Brock Bowers and what else? They have Colton Miller, and like on the offensive line, but really nothing. And then Tennessee, they have a couple of good offensive linemen. They have
Westbrook Akine.
He's a free agent, so they don't even have him anymore. They have Calvin Ridley, and they have Tony Pollard is still good. Tajay Spears, but like these are not offenses that can go to a Super Bowl. So I think of these choices, if Rodgers does settle and doesn't like wait, I think that Tennessee makes the most sense. I've said this before. That Rodgers is friends with two people in that front office, and he has a home in Nashville. So. And I don't get the sense that Tennessee likes either quarterback atop the draft. So I think they might want to go for a veteran, and then like and it kind of makes sense for them too, because if Rodgers sucks, then they'll be in a good position to draft Arch Manning. And if Rodgers is good, then maybe they go to the playoffs in a bad division. So
Just put Rodgers on the Vikings and call it a freaking day. Why don't they just do that?
he's not going to start there though, unless like McCarthy's not healthy. I don't like they like JJ McCarthy.
I know they do, but I'm just saying.
Is that because Favre went there? Is that the only reason?
Yeah. Imagine he's on the other side of that. Remember the first time he played Favre and the Vikings?
Yeah.
And then beat well,
Well, the Vikings beat him first twice.
right, but that was 09 the first two times. But that second game I remember that was a really good game, but holy cow. That's 16 seasons ago? No, good grief, man.
It's been a while.
That's
John
crazy
asked,
to think about.
John asked, what about the Colts? Richardson's beyond repair. Well, I definitely agree with the latter point. As far as the Colts go, like the problem there is like Rodgers will know that he's not guaranteed a starting job, whereas like in Tennessee he would be, the Giants he would be. The only quarterback the Giants have on the roster is Tommy DeVito. So like Rodgers.
Oh, nice.
Rodgers is definitely going to be the starter there, and then Tennessee with Will Levis, like he's definitely going to be the starter there. But Indianapolis, if Richardson has a great preseason, Richardson's still going to be the starter because like they still have a lot invested in him, and he's super talented. Like he hasn't lived up to it at all. He's had a couple of nice games, I suppose, but like that's it. But he has immense talent, and the coaching staff's still going to root for him. And if it's even, they're going to give the job to Richardson. So I don't think that Indianapolis makes a lot of sense. But like I said before, if I'm Rodgers personally, I think I wait until there's an injury and then I sub in. You know, I think that's what you do. And you know, it happens all the time. You know, like the Ravens didn't have Lamar Jackson for 2 years in a row heading into the playoffs. Tua Tagovailoa, I remember that year they had to go to Skylar Thompson. Like, you know, we saw that 1 year that Teddy Bridgewater got hurt in the preseason. Like Michael Vick, that 1 year he got hurt in the preseason. Like, it happens all the time. And like by waiting, he can go to a better place that, you know, he'll have a chance to go to the playoffs. But with these three teams, the Titans, Giants, and Raiders, like I'd be shocked if any of them made the playoffs with Rodgers, or in general.
Put him on the Bears.
The Bears.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, Bears. Yeah, Caleb Williams would not be too happy. Where's Jameis going? That's the real question, because Jameis goes to a team with lots of receiving talent. You're going to have 30 touchdowns. You're also going to have 50 interceptions if he keeps playing. But that is what you want to know if you're playing DraftKings and fantasy football. Like Jameis was. I said this to we had Scott Mason who runs Play Like a Jet. We had him on the show last Tuesday, and he like asked me, he's like, what do you think the Jets are going to do at quarterback? I'm like I'll tell you what I would do. I would sign Jameis Winston and tell him, like, you're going to start every single game. I don't care how many interceptions you throw. It doesn't matter to me. And like he's going to end the year with like 30 touchdowns and 60 interceptions. But like the Jets fans are going to have a blast, and Garrett Wilson's going to be so happy with all the stats. And they're going to have like a top 5 pick next year.
Yeah. It's not the worst plan I ever heard.
No, and like this quarterback class sucks, and you know, it doesn't suck, you know, because you know Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis was terrible. You know, this is definitely better than that one. But
Kenny Pickett just won a Super Bowl, man. You're wrong.
That's true. He did throw a pass, and he did throw a pass in the Super Bowl, right. Which like it got Evan that prop that over 2.5 players to throw a pass. He got there like the final at the end. No, but like it is. Well, it's funny that you went to Pickett, not Malik Willis, who had like a couple of great starts last year for the Packers. But no, I mean that 22 draft class was awful. So this is much better than that. Like, and I think Cam Ward has a lot of potential, and I think Shedeur Sanders should be a solid starter throughout his career. Like you know, maybe like Derek Carr type level. But it's still underwhelming. This class, maybe that's the better word. It's not terrible. It's just underwhelming. And so next year's class is going to have a couple of talented quarterbacks, including maybe Arch Manning. We'll see if he declares, but it has a lot of potential. And so if I'm the Jets, I'm like, why not just tank for next season? And like they're not even in a position to draft one of the quarterbacks right now. Like the Browns sound like they're going to take a quarterback at 2, and even if the Titans pass on one at 1, the Giants seem likely to take one at 3. And then if the Giants don't, the Patriots are going to be up at 4. So if only one quarterback goes in the top 3, you're going to have Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter go. Like unless something crazy happens, like it's going to be a quarterback and those 2 guys in the top 3. And so the Patriots are going to be sitting there at 4 thinking, well, we like Will Campbell, the tackle from LSU, but we can get him later. We can get him at like 6 or 7. So we might as well trade down with the team that needs a quarterback. But you're looking at like the options for trading up. You have the Raiders, you have the Jets, you have the Seahawks and Steelers can make double trades like the Eagles did for once. Of those 4, the Jets are least likely to be the trading partner with the Jets with the Patriots because the Jets are in that division. So like, why would the Patriots just hand their rival a quarterback? So like the Jets are kind of screwed from that regard too. So they would need no one to trade up to 4, and then they would have to like trade up to 5 with the Jaguars. And just doesn't seem likely that they're going to get one of these quarterbacks. Like I don't know, maybe something crazy happens, but I think they may have to wait until 2026 anyway. So yeah, so I was like, well, yeah, why not just have fun with Jameis Winston for a year? And the fans are gonna have a blast. Garrett Wilson's gonna have a time of his life. It's like, yeah, you're gonna have like crazy scores like 48-31, but it's 48 because Winston throws 2 pick sixes, but it's still gonna be fun.
I saw something on Facebook today. It said that I don't know how true it is, but DK Metcalf to the Packers for their first round pick and one of their younger receivers.
I've seen so many DK Metcalf rumors.
Oh, okay.
Like I've seen Metcalf to the Buccaneers. Chris Godwin's probably leaving. I think he's going to Jacksonville to follow Liam Cohen. The Jaguars Seahawks have Jackson Smith and Jigba, so it makes sense, I guess. I would do it if that's the case for the Packers because they need a number 1 receiver, and like outside of T. Higgins, there's really nothing out there in free agency, and by the time they're drafting, they're not going to get Teterow and McMillan, and like it depends what you think of Luther Burden, but I don't know if he's the number 1. So it makes sense if they could do it, but usually I found that if there are rumors out there, like that trade doesn't happen. Like it seems like the trades that happen are the ones that like come out of nowhere. Exactly, yeah.
I don't expect Green Bay to do anything. I mean, I guess they did get Josh Jacobs last offseason, but who else have they they're notorious for never making a splash in free agency of any kind.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go back in the day and say Reggie White, but like usually it's like they get 1 or 2 amazing players or they get nothing. Like usually it feels like they're so meticulous with what they do.
I'm trying to think of. I know I'm not thinking. There's got to be one that I'm not thinking of that they made. Back in the day, they signed Andre Rison for 1 year, and that year they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Bad Moon Rising.
I actually forgot he was on that team until like kind of recently. That was the only year he was on Green Bay.
Well, the Packers they signed
Charles Woodson. Sorry, well, Nick just said it. I knew I was missing a big one. Charles Woodson. What a sign that was too. So you're right. They do the signings they do make are.
Oh, what about Julius Peppers?
Peppers too is another one.
Yeah,
but that's like it. And so what we're talking like 3 there.
Well, like I said, they make these big moves and then they do nothing otherwise. I don't know. I mean, like, would you rather them sign a bunch of crappy players and regret it later?
No, but they're just. I mean, I like that about the Packers. I mean, they're homegrown, I guess. Remember they had Don Beebe on that Super Bowl team. Remember 31?
Oh yeah. I was rooting for the Packers that game. I had the Packers -7 for that game.
Oh yeah, 35-21 they won in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Desmond Howard won Super Bowl MVP. Still to this day the only special teams player to ever win Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, that was one of the first Super Bowls I watched, I think. Well, that not counting like when I was a kid. Like I remember the first Super Bowl I actually watched was with my friend Josh, who ended up being my best man at my wedding. But I think we were like 7 or 8, and like it was Bills Cowboys, I think, and like we were watching that game in his mom's bedroom, and like by the middle of the first quarter, we were like playing with this cat. It's just like no attention span at all. No, I think like that was the one with Charles Wilson's probably like one of the first ones I actually like watched seriously, But yeah, when you're a kid, like you don't have that like same attention span. It's like my son. For this past Super Bowl, I took both my kids to my parents' house. I was watching my dad. Like my son would come in, and I'd be like, look, the Super Bowl, and he would like watch one play and then just like run off, So yeah, technically counts for his first Super Bowl.
Pop quiz: who was the coach of the Patriots in that Super Bowl 31?
Who was the head coach?
Yeah, when they lost to Green Bay.
For the Patriots. Was it Parcells?
Bill Parcells, yeah. That was his last year there too.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go, G Chuck. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah. Where's Sue? Is that Suzanne?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. She'll be back. She's taking a she's busy making new posts.
Yeah. Yeah, I still had that tab up. There you go. There's Sue. Anyway, the big tuna. Why do they call him tuna? They always like. I never knew that. Like, I guess you could like look it up easily. Did you like tuna sandwiches? Like, or why did they call him tuna? I never like knew that. I always heard the nickname, but just never.
I think I read it at one point, but I could never remember. Who was the coach? Wait, was Pete Carroll was the coach after that, and then it was Belichick. Is that right?
Yeah. Pete Carroll's the Patriots coach after that. Yeah.
Okay.
I just looked up. Parcells was nicknamed Big Tuna while playing linebacker at University of Wichita. The nickname may have come from his original nickname Tuner, which he earned for his attention to detail and early arrival at training sessions. That's stupid. How do you get like from tuner to tuna? It's dumb. I thought like he liked tuna sandwiches, and they're like calling the big tuna. I don't know. That would be better.
He was a fisherman by trade.
Right.
He was out at sea in the off season. Yeah, I mean that would make so much more sense.
Yeah, tuner.
So dumb.
I know.
So dumb.
Anyway, so we kind of veered off this topic when we started talking about Aaron Rodgers because I pulled up
Suzanne.
the teams. Yeah, well, I pulled up these teams that you said what could be the surprise team.
Oh, right.
And I did say that look, it is way too early to do this. So we'll do it again later once we have better data. But no free agency, no draft, but. And last year, obviously, it was the Vikings. Everyone thought that they would be in last place or or something close to that. And their season win total was 6.5. They more than doubled it. So it feels like every year there's one team that doubles their win total. And I don't mean like 2 to 4. Like I mean like, there's never any 2, but I don't mean like 4 to 8. Like I'm like probably like 5 to 10 or maybe even 6 to 12. Like it happens all the time. So like maybe we could try to figure it out. Giants at 200 to 1, Raiders 200 to 1. Let's start there. I don't see either. I mean, Raiders will have Max Crosby healthy. They'll have Malcolm Kusa, Christian Wilkins healthy. We'll see what they do at quarterback. But like as they stand right now, I just don't see it. Like they just have so many offensive holes. They do have a new coaching staff like Pete Carroll's. He'll be better than what they've had. So maybe that's the case to maybe see Raiders, but at the same time, they're playing in the division with the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos, and I think people expect those 3 teams to do well. I'm not as big a fan of the Broncos, but Chargers and Chiefs for sure. So it's going to be tough for the Raiders to do anything. But any hope for them?
Absolutely none.
All right.
Absolutely none. Not as things stand now. But if they sign Aaron Rodgers, then oh boy. No, I don't know.
Right. Let's see. So the Browns are 180 to 1. I think the Browns are the worst team in the NFL right now. Like, okay, maybe if they draft Cam Ward and he turns out to be like Jaden Daniels, I don't think he will be, but then maybe they'll have a chance. But it sounds like they're going to trade Myles Garrett, and once they do that, their defense is going to be so much worse. Do you like the Browns?
Absolutely. Beached Whale McCarthy. Oh man.
Yeah.
You know what I was watching recently? Remember when the Green Bay beat Dallas in the playoffs in the 16-17 season, the run the table season?
Yes. Yeah. The Jared catch.
Yeah, exactly. And Mason Crosby. It looked like at first that game-winning kick from Crosby looked like it wasn't going to go in, and it just snuck in there. It moved to the right at the end. I always really liked because Rodgers and McCarthy didn't really get along, especially at the end. And just to see like that pure, genuine joy when they embraced, like after that win, that was so cool to watch as a Packers fan. Because like in that moment, they like put everything aside. Maybe at that point they weren't. It wasn't really until like the following year or the year later when they were kind of like I remember hearing that Rodgers was like rolling his eyes in the huddle, like when he heard the play call, and McCarthy, he certainly wasn't my favorite, but like he's also not the worst. But I don't know. I always really liked that moment because it's like, wow, that was so cool. Like in as a Packers fan. So anyhow,
I mean, it was a great season for the Packers. Unfortunately, it ended in Atlanta, but still, it's a great win. I remember having a big play on the Packers, so I was I'm not a Packer fan, but I was a Packer fan that day.
Yeah,
I always say that. And I actually got to say this in real life a week ago. Like people always ask me like, who do you root for? And I say the team I root for is the team I'm betting on. And I was talking to my bank teller, or one of them, and it's like this old lady. She's like probably pushing 70. I know she has a grandchild who's 16, so as a reference there. But she's a big football fan. She used to live in Kansas City, so she loves the Chiefs. So yeah, this was right after the Super Bowl. She was upset, and she's like, "Well, I never asked you who do you root for?" And I told her that line. I'm like, my favorite team is the one I root for, and she's like, I love that. I was like
okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, when did you run into the bank teller? When did you run into her when you were depositing those fake $30,000 checks from the car dealership?
Yeah, then.
And then she's like, "Hey, dumbass, this check isn't real." Like right after that.
I had to leave in disgrace, and suddenly my line about the favorite team wasn't so good anymore. I should have just left with that line. She's like, "That's great." I'm like, "Oh, see you later." She's like, "Great, can you have the deposit check?" I'm like, "Nope, I'm leaving on that. Bye." It's like the George Costanza thing.
Oh, that was great. I love when we can bring the jokes full circle.
Yes. All right, Tennessee set 170-1. I mean, I already talked about this team with Rodgers. I don't see it. Do you?
I'm not interested. I don't think any of these teams are going to be surprise teams. Like, okay, we could start with New England in my book. I mean, if you want to hit the other ones, that's fine. But,
well, the Saints have a new coach with Kellen Moore. The problem is they're so over the cap that they can't add talent. But like, I wanted to mention them because remember last year they were 2-0, and their first two wins were so impressive against the Panthers and Cowboys. Less so with the Panthers, but they destroyed Dallas in Dallas. And it looked like they were going to be like, oh, man, this is going to be the surprise team. And then they almost beat the Eagles, too. They lost, I think it was 15-13 at home. Still, like, they nearly won that game. So this looked like one of the better teams in the NFL last year. But then things unraveled for them. They had a lot of injuries. But I don't know. The Saints, they're okay. And in that division, I think their win total is going to be a lot lower this year just because what people just saw. Although on the Combine broadcast, Rich Eisen says something that was shocking to me. He said that Spencer Rattler, the Silver Snake, he was in going to be challenging for the starting job there this year, and I'm like,
take the over then. That's never. I changed my mind. That's a surprise team. Rattler's the truth, man.
I'm like. Are you like talking out of your butt here, or like is this something like you actually heard?
I'm just saying that.
I'm talking to Eisen, not you.
Oh.
I'm not.
We already.
I'm like, well, I'm like saying like, are you talking out of your butt, or is like, have you heard news that like they're considering Rattler as a starter? Like, I don't know. Maybe they want to cut Derek Carr because he costs so much money.
Could be for sure. I don't know,
If
man.
if I'm the Saints, I do that for sure.
Rattler brings the energy, even though he hasn't performed well. I'm just saying, if he figures it out, I think he. I'm not saying he could be great. I'm just saying he could exceed expectations. I don't know.
I think it's 100% the right move. I don't know if they can get out of Derek Carr's contract, but if they can, and they can start Rattler, like first of all, they save a lot of money, and second, Derek Carr is he's the most mediocre quarterback in the NFL. Like he can win the playoffs if if like conditions are perfect, because like we saw Jimmy Garoppolo get to the Super Bowl. Like this stuff can happen. We saw decrepit Peyton Manning get to the Super Bowl. Like Derek Carr is in that realm, Brock Purdy. Like I think Purdy's a little bit better, like younger, but at the same time, Derek Carr has experience and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, like he can take a team deep into the playoffs if things are perfect. But the problem is the Saints are not perfect. Like they have a lot of flaws. They have no depth. Like if they suffer injuries, they're done. Like we saw last year, they're complete toast because they have no depth because they have no money. Like I see Carr, it says potential out. They would take a big cap hit, but it looks like they do have an out this offseason. So they could actually, according to Spot Rack, they could cut him, save a lot of money. Not this year. Like they're gonna have to eat the money, but for 2026 and beyond, they'll have more money. They'll have a young quarterback in Rattler, and like one of two things is going to happen. Either, and maybe you'll say one thing because you seem to like Rattler. One thing, and Chris saying Rattler brings him closer to Arch. Yeah, one thing is like Rattler might actually be good. He was considered the number one overall prospect, in the NFL draft a couple years before the actual draft. He fell off because he struggled in college and he had off the field issues. But he has talent, so like if he can put it together, especially with Kellen Moore there, like maybe they have something there, and he's going to be a cheap option. The other option is what Chris is saying, like Rattler could bring them closer to Arch Manning, and I've said this a few times, so forgive me if you've heard it, but I've gotten every time I post a link, not every time, most of the time, I post a link to my 2026 NFL mock draft, which has Arch Manning number 1 to the Giants. I get like Texas fans, like at least one Texas fan going, there is no way Arch Manning's coming out next year. And I'm like, if I'm Arch Manning, like obviously money's not an issue, but you get money in college, so like that's completely irrelevant now. If I'm Arch Manning and like or anyone in the Manning family, you can actually like play a game here where if the number 1 team drafting is the team you want to go to, then you declare for the draft. Otherwise, you pass on it. So, for example, if like the Raiders or the Browns have the number 1 pick next year, and you're like, I don't want Arch to go there. So like Arch can go back to school, and he'll make money. He'll still be happy. He'll do well in Texas. But if it's a team that you want to go to, like the Giants, like if you can succeed, Eli Manning, like if I'm Arch, like my uncle played for this team, like that'd be cool to go there, right? Or the Jets, same city, or the Saints because Archie Manning played there, or if like the Colts bottom out, like Peyton Manning played there, like one of these teams, I feel like if they're drafting number 1, Arch Manning is very likely to declare because that's the perfect spot for him, or like it's the spot he wants to go to. And if you go back to school, you risk the Browns getting the number 1 pick the following year. So I think it really depends on who has the number 1 pick, whether Arch Manning comes out, and if it's the Saints, I think it's a no-brainer. His grandfather played for that team. I think they live down there, if I'm not mistaken. So it's really his hometown team where his grandfather played. Like the Saints have no one pick. I guarantee Arch Manning's coming out. I think that this Rattler move is definitely the right decision for the Saints because either they're going to be terrible or they're going to be the surprise team with the Silver Snake.
The Silver Snake. Arch Manning, what's up, love to eat? Arch Manning's like 180 pounds.
Well, he has the time to grow. I give him some cheeseburgers. He'll be fine. Have him drink high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah. No classic Pepsi for you, pal.
No. You want the regular Pepsi. or maybe that's soda sip. I don't know what they have in there. I have to look at their ingredients.
Yeah.
Jets 130-1. You said the Jets are a disaster right now. I do think they're going to be better with Aaron Glenn this year, but like their quarterback right now is Tyrod Taylor. So we'll have to circle back to this team and see what happens. Patriots 120-1. I think you can definitely make a case for them because they have the most cap space in the NFL. I believe they have 110 million in cap space. Actually, that could be even higher. Let me pull this up just so we have the correct number. I'm way off. 127 million in cap space. By the way, the Redskins no longer third. They have sixth most after Deebo. 127 million. I believe the cap is like 270. So this is like nearly half the cap space is what they have. So that's pretty wild.
Wonder what their win total is. If we think if it was like 4.5, I feel like it might be like 5. I think I'd still take the over.
I would take the over too. Yeah, for sure. And they almost got there last year. They went 4-13 last year with that dreadful team. Now they have Mike Vrabel.
Well, maybe I'm lowballing the line there then.
Yeah, I mean the win totals aren't out yet. They usually come out when the schedule comes out, or at least when the draft's over. I think I'd say the win total's gonna be 5.5 or 6. If I had to guess, maybe 6.5. Depends what they do, obviously. But like right now, if they were pricing it, I think 5.5 would be the price.
5.5. I think I'd like the over 6.
Yeah, for sure. And like in that division, you have the Jets are going to bottom out. Obviously the Bills, but the Dolphins, like if healthy, they're good, but like they have their issues, and Tua Tagovailoa is always like at risk for being hurt. So, I would go over as well. And plus the AFC is weaker than the NFC right now.
Mm-hmm.
The AFC is very top heavy, but like they don't have a lot of depth. Whereas like the NFC is just like so many good teams.
Right.
So yeah. So I think
I might look into that then. I mean,
I think depending on what they do, like obviously they haven't done anything, and like they have 127 million cap space, but they have so many needs. Like they have no good receivers. They don't have their offensive line's awful. They don't have a pass rush. And I don't like Ramondre Stevenson that much. He's okay, but they can do better than him. So they have a lot of issues, but it's a ton of cap space. So we'll see what they do. Like they have the wide range of outcomes. Like if they waste this money and they sign all crappy players, then I'm not going to be into the over. But I do like Mike Vrabel. I think it's a big upgrade. So let's see what happens. And yet the Panthers here 120-1. You said you like them late in the year.
Yeah, I sure did. And I mean, this is more Quacky feeling than anything, but I only see them getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if they get some help on what they're going to get a defensive lineman, huh? I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Charlie Campbell posted an article. I think it was either yesterday or 2 days ago, saying that the Panthers were looking at Michael Williams and Shamar Stewart as potential picks at what are they draft number 8. So they're looking at edge rushers, which makes sense because they had the worst pass rush in the NFL last year.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to win a ton of games necessarily, but to me, they look like a completely different team once Bryce Young came back in the second part of last season. I think they're on the come up. Does that mean they're going to have a winning record? No, but I think they're stars on the rise. We'll say that. So I am very interested to see what their win total is going to be. I'll guess maybe 6 for them.
I would have said 5.5.
5.5, 6. I would take the over on either of those. I really would.
I'm not sure I'm there. I get your argument. You could be right, but I think late in the year when they had those close like those near wins, and like really they could have been wins, but they were all against teams that just weren't bringing any effort against them. It was like the Eagles they just were sleepwalking through that game. Chiefs too, and the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers even said heading into that second game against them, they're like, we took this team lightly, and then the second game the Buccaneers destroyed them. Granted, that was the game where the Panthers had the flu, but I don't think that second game was going to be close. And remember that Dallas game, like Dallas just blasted Carolina. It was not even competitive. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, they were better, and I like Dave Canales. I do think the Panthers can be better next year, but they have a horrible defense, and I'm not convinced Bryce Young's still good. Like, he's not going to be. I don't think he's going to be terrible, but at the same time, I don't know how good he can be either. So I don't know if I'm quite there on Carolina.
All right, I mean that's fair, but
yeah,
I'll be interested to see what the win total is. 5.5. I'll definitely take the over. I'll say
if it's like if you're comparing win totals between Carolina and New Orleans, I think I'd go New Orleans.
Really, I wouldn't. I don't know.
Even the Silver Snake, you don't like Rattler something?
Yeah, I'm changing my tune here quickly, huh? No, I don't know. I think the Panthers. I'm not saying they're going to be great. I'm saying I think they'll exceed expectations. So
John says,
it's call it a quacky feeling, but
John says Rattler looks like an actor playing Mahomes in the movie. It's a good call.
That he does. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. All right. We move on to the Colts 100-1. If like Richardson finally lives up to his potential, yeah, for sure. But otherwise,
yeah, and if Jonathan Taylor doesn't fumble the stupid ball before the goal line like a freaking dork.
Things haven't been the same here since the Battle of the Horses.
That's right, man. I've placed like I've bet on one. I bet on Super Bowl Sunday, and that's like almost the only time I've bet or USA hockey. I took USA.
Yeah, I took USA in the finals. That didn't work out so well. It was only a $25 bet. Whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's not too bad.
Well, Bet Rivers give me profit boost. Like, what am I going to do? Turn it down? Like,
yeah.
I have to make bad bets like whenever they give you profit boost. Like, of course. Here's the team that I would consider Jacksonville 75-1. So Doug Peterson's gone. He's awful. He was so much better than Urban Meyer, but like he still sucks. So Liam Cohen is there now. Like, we don't know how Liam Cohen's going to do as a head coach, but we do know that he's an offensive guru. And, I do think that he's going to get Trevor Lawrence to play a lot better. They had a lot of injuries last year, including to Trevor Lawrence. Mac Jones played the second half of the year last year. Brian Thomas was amazing. I think they get Chris Godwin, as I said before. I think he follows Liam Cohen. And some other Buccaneers might follow him too. Like Jordan Whitehead's going to be a free agent. Like maybe they sign him to help at safety. They have a high draft pick. They have the 5th pick in the draft, so they can get a stud, like maybe Mason Graham, a defensive tackle, and really bolster that situation. And they play in a bad division too, so they can get some wins for free, like against Tennessee and Indianapolis. So I like this Jaguar team. I think they're more likely than not to make the playoffs, given their situation. So I don't know if they're going to be quite like a great team. Like the Vikings weren't great. They're very good. I don't think the Jaguars are going to be like a very good team, but I think win total wise, I think they could definitely exceed whatever the win total is going to be.
I think so too, and this is a team that I've liked for a few years now, and they certainly let me down 2 years ago. What were they 8-3 and then missed the playoffs? Was that right?
Yeah, they won one game down the stretch against Carolina. Yeah, I mean Trevor Lawrence was the Black Knight from Monty Python. Like he was a new injury every single week. It was brutal.
Yeah, he was playing hurt, and you could tell.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, things can only go up there. It's a team I like, and yeah, it was a huge letdown last season, and I thought, because I bet them to win the Super Bowl before the season 2 years ago, and I was like 8-3, okay, like now I've got at least an opportunity to hedge, and then who saw that coming? Finish 1-5. So
yeah,
but yeah, so I like the thought process there too. Another team I'd like to see the win total. I agree. You know what? Now that I really think about it, I do like this call. I think they could be a bit of a surprise team.
Okay, so I think we agree that Jacksonville is the most likely, but let's get to a few other teams before we get to like the playoff playoff likelihood teams. Cowboys 65-1. Feels like everyone's trashing them because Brian Schottenheimer is the coach, and I hate Brian Schottenheimer, but like I don't know. I feel like the contrarian me like suddenly wants to bet Dallas. It's like I know it's a bad idea. But, it feels like Dallas is always like a public team. And it feels like
Mhm.
now everyone hates them. Like I think this is like the time to be on them, but I don't. I still
Right.
think they suck.
Well, let's see who they play week 1. Maybe maybe we take them in week 1.
Yeah, that's true. Although new head coach, I usually don't like taking teams new head coaches, but I mean, they do have a veteran quarterback. It's usually
The Giants. They'll probably play the Giants week 1. I
they
feel
always
like
play
they
the
always
Giants
do.
before. Yeah, they always play the Giants before. It's new head coach plus new quarterback is generally like a terrible recipe in week 1.
Mm.
I think I think they went like 1-3 in week 1 last year. The only team that won was the Patriots against the Bengals. Like they went outright as huge underdogs. So Cincinnati just
Jeez,
didn't show up to that game, and
Oh
like
my god.
Cincinnati knocked like everyone out of the survivor pools.
I remember that. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
and that if Cincinnati won that game, they would have made the playoffs. They needed one more win, and they just took that for granted. Just goes to
Yeah,
show. Like,
seriously.
just show up, just try hard. You
Yeah.
you're paid to play sports. Like just try hard. It's not that difficult to like give effort.
I think the next team that catches my eye here is the Falcons.
Okay, I was gonna mention Steelers for a second because like I like if you asked me this a week ago, I would have said Steelers 100% because I thought Stafford that was like Stafford's most likely destination. Because they have cap space, they have a huge need of quarterback. It's not in the conference. I thought if like the Rams trade Stafford, it was going to be to Pittsburgh. But now we know Stafford's going to be back in LA, so I don't know what the Steelers do with quarterbacks. It's probably going to be Russell Wilson again, which like disqualifies them automatically. Like they're still going to make the playoffs. And I mentioned this before, but my father-in-law, he makes one bet every single year. Like when I go to Vegas, he's like, put money on this for me. He gives me $100, and he wins every single year. It's Steelers win total over every single year.
Wow.
They go over the win total. It's usually by like one game. They always get there. They always make the playoffs or get close to it. They always have a winning record with Tomlin. That's all he bets. The Steelers just like doubles his money
That's
every
so
year.
funny. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many years has that been happening?
A long time. I think ever since like Roethlisberger retired, because like that's when their win totals had decreased, and so that's when it started. Yeah. So it's the Cowboys in the wrong division with Redskins and Eagles. Yeah, I agree. I was just joking, but I do think they're a good bet in week 1. As long as they're not playing like a team that's much better than them.
Mm-hmm.
You said Redskins or Lions probably. Is that Nick saying, who do you think gets the season opener at Philly? I do think it's Redskins or Lions. Yeah, I think John's completely right about that. I think they probably go Lions.
I think so
if I had
too.
to guess. Yeah, I think they like to save divisional games for later in the year. So that's why I would say Lions. But yeah. Anyway, so you mentioned. I feel like when we get to these teams, you're not surprised teams anymore.
Right.
Maybe Arizona is. And by the way, sad news today that Ron Wolfley is stepping down as broadcaster of Arizona. That's it's a dark day. I love Ron Wolfley. I think he's one of the best
really?
ever. Yeah, he's so funny, man. He just like says complete nonsense. That guy looks like a phone booth with cactuses for arms. Like he's just like crazy stuff. That you're like, what are you smoking, dude? Like
that's awesome.
But he makes like the broadcast so fun because you just never know what he's gonna say. Okay, so Arizona, Atlanta. I think Denver doesn't belong here because like people like them to make the playoffs. So Arizona, Atlanta. You mentioned Atlanta. I think you could be right on the money. I mean, you love Michael Penix, right? So.
I sure do. I sure do.
Yeah. Any other reasons why you like the Falcons?
Yeah, I mean they're division 2. I mean,
yeah. I think Tampa took a hit with Liam Cohen leaving, so I think Atlanta should be the favorites in the division, and they're not. No, we don't have the divisional. I believe we don't. We don't have divisional odds yet. I think the Tampa is going to open up as a small favorite, and we might get Atlanta plus money. I think I'm going to bet Atlanta if we do, depending on what the number is, obviously.
Yeah.
But no, I like Penix. He looked great at the end of last year. Or maybe that's because Cousins was so bad that like he just looked like an upgrade by default. But he took Washington to overtime in Washington late in the year on national TV. I believe that was his first national TV game, and like he really thrived in that game. And He had a shootout with the Carolina, and granted, bad defense, but still, like he produced a lot of points, a lot of good offensive production. Yeah, I think Atlanta. I think you might be onto something with Atlanta. It depends. Like, are they a surprise team? It depends on like how much hype they get. You know, like maybe they're going to be the hype team. So, like maybe they don't qualify for what we're talking about here, but I do think Atlanta is the team you want to bet on this year rather than fade. So, yeah. What do you think about Arizona? Any shot with them? I would say no because I don't trust Murray. But
yeah, I'm not sure either. And I know last year I feel like we were zigging and zagging with them all the wrong ways. At least it felt like it. So, but I don't know. I mean, Trey McBride had a great year last year, and he only caught 1 touchdown, right? Or did he get some at the end of the year?
Did he finish? I think he finished with 2, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
because he had the touchdown against the Rams in Week 17. And I think he got a touchdown in the final week of the season.
Oh, did he? Okay,
yeah.
I had him on my fantasy team, and he did really well, and he hardly caught any touchdowns. So.
Yeah, it's crazy how well he would have done if he caught like 5 or 6. You know,
yeah. So
I do think there will be some positive regression, even though that doesn't make sense.
Agreed.
Any of these teams, I feel like we're not in surprise territory anymore. Do you see anything that where you're like, wow, this team is like going to shock everyone? Maybe Chicago. I think people were hyped about Chicago last year. Remember heading into Week 1?
Oh yeah.
Like they were I love fading like super hyped teams in Week 1, and Chicago was it. Man, I thought we had a great bet on Tennessee. We did. No. They're up 17-0. Chicago won without scoring an offensive touchdown and covered. It's like what a horrible way to start the betting year.
That's when it all started, man.
Well, it all started in the preseason when we had the Ravens as underdogs, and the Eagles covered because the Ravens fumbled the last play of the game to set up a game-winning field goal. So like that's when it started for me. Like I know you probably didn't bet that game, but as far as the Super Contest is concerned, was like we should have had I think we're 2-3 in Week 1. Like we should have been 3. Yeah, we should have been 3-2, which is not like a great record, but still like 3. Like Week 1 is usually pretty rough because like you don't know how good these teams are going to be. Like so, I would say that if you can survive Week 1 at 3-2, like I think that's fine. And so we would have been 3. We should have been 3-2 with the Titans. That was probably the worst. That was probably the worst beat of my lifetime. I think. Like it wasn't the pick of the month, but it was at the same time.
Yeah.
I think of like other bad beats. You know, like Mac Jones taking a safety in the end zone.
Oh God.
But like as far as like handicapping that game, like it was right on the money. Like Tennessee was the better team by far. They outgained the Bears. I think they doubled the Bears in yardage in that game. And it was just like they just threw the game away, like literally, like Will Levis just heaving the ball like for no reason. That was brutal, man.
Well, actually, we started the year off on a good note because I had for a couple months in the summer. You know, I once the schedule comes out, we'll see. I feel like I always cook up a good one like in Week 1 or Week 2. Like this last year, we had the Eagles
against the
against
Packers.
Green Bay. Yeah, the Brazil game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, that wasn't the first game of the year, but that was the biggest bet I made all year. Nice. That was the biggest bet I made all year, and
it was the Y2K special.
That's right. Man, I should give more than one Y2K special. But that's what makes them the Y2K. I'll just come up with other names. Never mind. I should Y3K. Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't have to. We're beautiful. No, yeah, that was a Y2K pick. The Eagles are always my Y2K picks. Yeah. Remember Week 2 a couple years ago? Remember I came over to your house and I was saying this was the 22-23 season. Remember I was over at your house in July. Yeah, I was like Eagles in Week 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
Vikings,
that was. I think that was the biggest bet I placed all that year too. That was so easy. Remember, I took the Eagles -9 too. I think they're -2.5.
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great game. But you had another great bet, or at least like you had a great handicap, I should say. I don't know if you bet it because we didn't take it. You loved the Patriots in Week 1 against the Bengals.
I changed my tune on because we ended up taking the Bengals, but in the summer I did say I was like I have this weird feeling that I was on them until I ended up not betting it. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you had a
thankfully,
great
but-
handicap, you just didn't bet it, and I didn't either.
Mhm.
In fact, I was on Cincinnati in Survivor, so it didn't work out.
Yeah, I just thought it just seemed like one of those spots. There's always one team in week one that ends up, they'll finish the year with 3 wins, but they win that first game. The Bears did that a couple years ago against the 49ers in that monsoon game. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Remember that what was it, that Colts and Texans game that ended in a tie that crushed so many people in Survivor that year? I think that was that same year, 22-23.
Yeah,
It
I remember
was.
the Jaguars beat the Colts. The Phil Rivers Colts.
Yeah, and then lost every other game.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was really something. And then they got Trevor Lawrence.
It's crazy how often that happens. Like you see weird stuff happen week one, and then it reverses. Like even the first couple weeks, like the Patriots last year, they beat the Bengals, and then the following week they took Seattle to overtime. Like they were looking like a legit team.
Mm-hmm.
And then like things just fell apart for them. I think it was week 3, and this was a great bet. Like week 3, they were plus 6.5 at the Jets on Thursday Night Football, and it seemed like the Patriots were like the biggest public dog that game because the Jets in the first 2 weeks they got blown out by the Niners, and then they barely beat the Titans. Like they had to hang on at the end. Where like Will Levis got down to the 10-yard line, and then like he did stupid stuff at the 10-yard line. But like. Yeah, going into that game, the Jets were minus 6.5, and I remember like everyone liked the Patriots. I was on the Jets, and the Jets like destroyed New England. They outgained them 400 to 139. That was a beautiful game. Unfortunately, it was a Thursday night game that like, we couldn't take it on in the Super Contest. But yeah, you get these like overreactions like all the time. Like people are like week 1 and even to week 2 to an extent. Like a bad team looks good for some reason. And it's because maybe like their opponents just aren't focused or like aren't prepared for the season. And then like they're just such an easy fade like the rest of the way or most of the rest of the way.
I remember 22-23, the Bears started out 2-1, and I had bet them to have the lowest win total of any team, and they won, even though they started out 2-1. Well, that was, remember the year the Texans, the last game, Lovie Smith.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up getting the number 2 pick, and that's because the Bears ended up tying them for the fewest wins. But because the Texans won that last game, I still won the bet. The dead heat rule, I got half the winnings.
I hate the heat rule, but I get it. Obviously they can't give out a lot of money to a lot of people.
Right.
I get
it
it,
makes sense, but still. Yeah.
I was going to say, by the way, the Patriots. So they covered week 1 obviously against the Bengals, and then week 2 they pushed against Seattle. Or if you got plus 3.5, you covered. The next game they covered was week 8. So you got 5 free wins in a row until week 8. By the way, the Jets again. That was that Jets game where the Patriots won at the end.
Right.
The Jets had a Thursday night game coming up, and so they were just unfocused. So yeah, the Patriots got slaughtered in many of the games after that. They lost 24-3 to the Jets. They lost 30-13 against the Niners. They lost 15-10 to the Dolphins, who were starting Tyler Huntley. They lost 41-21 to the Texans, and they lost in London 32-16 to the Jaguars. Like they were getting absolutely destroyed. Their butts kicked every week after being so impressive in the first 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of wild that like these betting opportunities come up, and like in real time, it's tough to identify. Like maybe because, and I always wish this is never going to happen. I always wish that like we had 2 weeks off between every football week. And I know that like every fan's like, no, what are you crazy? I'm talking about like from a betting perspective and handicapping. Like I feel like if I had 2 weeks to handicap every football season or like, every football week, like I would be so much better. I think just because like when the playoffs are around, like things get so clear because there's only like 4 games to focus on. I feel like if there are like 4 games each week, or if it's every other week, like I think that like that would be so much better. Like for me, like I feel like I'd find things that like I miss because like the week goes by so fast, and there are like games every day too. That's part of the problem too, because like you're handicapping, you have to get ready for the Thursday night game, and then like to analyze that, and then like the weekend comes around, you're looking at injuries, and like suddenly you have to submit your card for the
and then if you got the divorce package going on that week.
Oh my god, yeah, the divorce package, yeah, absolutely, like that's the worst. So yeah, like wasn't there a stretch where like we had football games like on every day, like remember Christmas, because like they had Christmas games on Wednesday, then they had Thursday night football, and then what they have on Friday. I think Friday might have been college football playoff, but then we had games on Saturday. We had a game on Saturday, or maybe a couple games on Saturday, and then we had Sunday, and then obviously Monday night football. And it's like it's just so overwhelming. And I know like it's great for fans, I suppose, but like for someone who's handicapping, it's like it's pretty hectic, you know.
Yeah, we're not fans. We don't like it.
Yeah, 1 game per week. Let's go.
Yeah. Screw this.
Yeah, we'll bat like 70%. Like it's 1 game a week.
Yeah.
Let's see. John says Texans and Bears are the 2 preseason darlings last year. Guessing Redskins and Broncos will be the 2 teams this year. But the Redskins are actually good though. Like the Texans and Bears heading into last year. No, the Texans I guess made it to the second round of the playoffs, but like I don't know if like I don't think they're that good with CJ Stroud as a rookie. Like they beat Joe Flacco in the playoffs. Whereas the Bears they've proven nothing. The Redskins got to the NFC Championship. They went to Detroit and won in a blowout. And they have potentially top 5 quarterback who like Jaden Daniels looks great, and they have a ton of talent already. And you know, good head coach. Like I don't like. Are they like a preseason darling? Like I feel like they're just a really good team. I have them third in my power rankings. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I do think maybe Denver. I think maybe Denver qualifies as like they're very similar to Houston. Like it feels like they got to the playoffs ahead of schedule. They have a quarterback entering his second year, and like the quarterback is like not this. Sorry, Tom, but like not that talented. Like close your ears. Bo Nix is like he doesn't have that much upside. I feel like, and he's old. He's older for a young quarterback. You know, if that makes sense. So I don't know how much upside he has. So I think Denver for sure. I think it would be fun to figure out like who the fake upside team is going to be. I would think. Again, this is so hard to say with free agency and the draft not happening yet, but like. Do you have like anyone in mind that like people are going to talk up as like a potential good team that like is not going to be a good team? Because I think John's right on the money with Denver, but I don't know if there's like a better choice.
Here, scroll up a little bit. I can't think of any football teams right now. Team names. Go up a little more.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think Cincinnati personally, because
you don't think
the defense sucks.
Well, I mean, is there any chance that they'll get Higgins back?
Oh yeah, they could. They have the money.
You don't forget about Josivash.
Juskevich, Serbian.
Wait, it's not Juskevich.
I know. I say it like sounds like
you had me
Jokic.
Second guessing. I was like, wait,
like Jokic, Doncic, Juskevich. Like he's on the all Serbian national. No. I bring up Cincinnati because I posted. I asked a question on Twitter. I'm like, who do you guys think is going to win the Super Bowl? Or I asked, who do you think? Who are you guys going to bet to win the Super Bowl next year? And I posted the odds, and like, I think Cincinnati got like the most votes. Like, Cincinnati 18-1. Like everyone loves Cincinnati, and like their defense blows. Their owner doesn't spend money. Like, why would Cincinnati suddenly be that team? You know, I think Cincinnati could be overhyped. Like Joe Burrow is amazing. But I think like everyone's going to jump on the wagon because like, hey, Joe Burrow's great. But I don't know. I just like maybe they do spend money. They do have cap space. Let me bring up over the cap again. They have right now here. They have the 8th most cap space, 61 million. It's a lot of money. Theoretically, they could add a lot of talent. I just don't think they will. They just haven't in the past. But like Joe Burrow did call the owner out. He said he's like I wish we spent more money. And like they had Joe Burrow finally finding out that like his owner's cheap. It's kind of, that moment you figure out that your owner's cheap. It's kind of
yeah.
But I do think Cincinnati falls under that category right now. I don't know. And maybe I'm wrong about Washington. It could be wrong, but I do think Jaden Daniels is the real deal. I think he will. I think they have a really good chance to win the Super Bowl.
Agreed.
Okay. Make America Great Again says Saints started off the season looking like world beaters. Yeah, I mean they look so good for sure. John says COVID year was a great time in this country. We got football like 4 days a week.
And you had the simulated games. Remember the simulated games?
What do you mean the simulated games?
They had like video game like simulations that you could bet on. I did not partake.
Oh, the Madden streams.
The Madden streams, yeah.
They still have those on DraftKings. You can play lineups.
Oh, really?
I think it's like I don't think you can win a lot of money, but they do have lineup streams. I'm gonna look right now because I was actually looking on their NFL because I was hoping they had best ball. But yeah, you can the Madden stream tomorrow. $15 entry fee. Then grand prize is $1,000.
Wow. Okay, I'll enter.
There are only 235 people in it. I don't know how you handicap this. Like,
it's just that's doodah luck.
That is doodah luck.
That,
that is like just
play
the lottery at that point.
Yeah, like, if you look up doodah luck in the dictionary, you're going to see me winning $1,000 in a simulated Madden DraftKings contest.
I know.
That does sound like something that would happen to me, though.
Yeah, that is like I don't just get scratch offs to play lottery at that point.
Yeah, really.
We're going linebacker first pick. Cowboys, maybe. I can see it. Like Jihad Campbell, I guess, is the best option. I didn't say they're going to fail, but the Redskins will be a preseason darling. Okay, yeah. I mean, I can see that, but remember who said it first that they're going to win the Super Bowl? I bet him before anyone else did. Well, that's not true. People did bet him 17-1. Chargers, they get an elite receiver. Yeah, but I think they'll actually be good at that point too. Let's not bring up the Madden streams. Won so much that didn't get paid about half of it. Is that true? That sucks.
Oh, that sucks, Chris. I'm sorry.
What platform? That sucks. Well, I feel like DraftKings will pay you out, but that's kind of a disappointment. Hey, can you talk for about 20 seconds? My thing got unplugged. I have to plug in my charger. So if you want to talk about like you can talk about whatever you want, but like any other.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll keep it going. Oh, it was on Bovada. Well, that just furthers the argument that Walt and I have about. I don't use Bovada at all anymore. Nor would I recommend anybody to, because they've done that apparently. Talk about Mega Man 11. No, because they've not paid draft bets before, so I don't recommend Bovada at all. I don't use it at all anymore, and I know that unless something's changed, I know that Walt will echo my sentiment.
I mean, Bovada went defunct in Pennsylvania, which is weird to me because they're not a U.S. company; they're Costa Rican. But they sent me an email saying we'll no longer be available in Pennsylvania. Like cash out in the next 5 days, or you won't be able to. It's not like I didn't have that much money in it. I actually don't think they cashed me out. I think like wow. I had like $300 in that account, and they basically like transfer it to crypto, and so I sent it to my Coinbase account, but I don't think I got it, or at least I didn't when I checked last time. So. Which would suck because like when I withdrew it, Bitcoin was like 56K, and now it's like 86K or whatever it was. So I would have made like it would have doubled my money because I would have made $600. But no, I mean I don't think they gave me the money, and so I mean I haven't checked it in a while, but for like 2 weeks they didn't send it, and then I just I don't know. That's stupid. Anyway, let's talk about Mega Man 11. Well, Mega Man's my wheelhouse, but like I haven't played 11. I played 9 and 10. I haven't played 11.
I don't think I played 11 either, actually.
Yeah, Walt can replay the stream. This is back in 2020 and 2021. So John saying like, oh, like I assume this means that he's joking that you said something. But I was away for those 10 seconds. What'd you say, Tom? I'm gonna listen.
All I just said was that we don't like Bovada, and then Walt will probably agree.
Yeah, Bovada no longer a legal state in Louisiana, but they still accept my occasional wager. Yeah, like why are they state by state? Like I get like DraftKings and FanDuel because they're American companies, but the Bovada's not. They're Costa Rican. I even said that like, I know 2 people who were owed 5 figures on Bovada, one of which was, and I know this because he sent me screenshots. It's 30K, 31K he was owed. and they did not pay him out. They did eventually give him his money back on those wagers, but they did not pay him out. And he's like, Walt, what should I do? Should I contact my lawyer? And I'm like, dude, your lawyer's going to call and they're going to laugh because like they're not American. You can't sue them. So like what's your lawyer going to do? Like, so I don't know. It's a shady company. I echo your sentiments. Do not bet on Bovada. It's terrible.
Yeah, agreed.
John Fetterman threatens to nuke Costa Rica. Did he? Is that a joke or did he really? I'd say one of Butch's. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I wasn't even including you. So I mean, that's 3 people actually, Chris.
Wow.
Yeah, it's brutal. We're coming up on 2 hours now. We have 10 minutes until that happens. The last thing I wanted to discuss was the golf. We have the Cognizant Classic that's going on now. Yeah, so are you in touch with golf? Yeah, that's the last thing I wanted to talk about here. So we have a couple guys in the running this week, which is exciting. It's always fun when you have guys who have a chance to win on Sunday. So let's look at the standings before we look at the odds. I don't know why this President's Cup is showing up. All right, so fortunately, Jake Knapp did well at the end of yesterday. So we have Russell Henley here. I believe we had him at like 28-1. I think he's 2 strokes behind. He did have a better outing than any of these guys in the top 10, except for these 2 down here. So we have Russell Henley right here. We have Sepulon Straka for a big bet. He's tied for 8th, so he's 4 strokes behind. And then we have Joel Damon here. He is our long shot. Well, we had Damon out. I think we had him at. Let me just pull it. I'm going to pull up the odds. We have Henley 25-1. We have Straka 28-1. That's 28-1. And then we had Damon at 135-1. He is tied for 14th. He's 5 strokes behind. I don't think Damon's going to win. It's like 5 strokes is pretty tough to make up, and like he's not the most talented golfer, but I think he was in really good form, and I thought this is a really good course for him. So I thought 135-1 is a good shot. What we do have him at is we have a bet on him to finish in the top 20 at 4-1, so that's looking pretty good. And then we have a bet on him to beat out Charlie Hoffman, who's like 1 million years old, and Hoffman's actually done better than I thought. Hoffman is 8 under, so right now Damon's 3 strokes ahead. So that's looking good too. So hopefully Damon wins. We're getting 135-1 would be great, but hopefully he just is a good day and is hovering around here. I do still like Henley. He's the best golfer out of all these top guys here. Other Sepulon Straka, you could argue he's the best. So I'm glad that we have the 2 best golfers. Ricky Fowler back in the day was better, but not anymore. There are 2 guys I wish I had bet. I'm not including like first place, but like Doug Gim and Ben Griffin. So I posted the top 10 of my model on the site. Those guys were not pictured there, but they almost made the cut. Ben Griffin was 11. So he just missed the top 10, and Doug Gim was 14. So those 2 guys, I think they also have a good chance to win. So let's go to the odds now.
Hey, real quick, while you're bringing that up, John Sanders, thank you for the super chat there.
Oh, I didn't see guys on the other thing. If I thought we were going to talk about golf. How about we are not talking about golf. We're talking about betting a sport and winning money, John. So like we're not talking about golf. It's a money making opportunity. It's investing, John.
We appreciate the super chat.
Yeah, absolutely, John. Thank you so much for the super chat. But when we do our covered calls episode, which I probably should be like in the summer, like the lead up into free agency and then the draft. It's kind of like,
right?
Yeah, because like nothing happens in the summer. Like May and June are dead for football except for the schedule coming up. we'll be able to do the cover calls episode then. And I actually think like we have. I think there's gonna be something else that I'm gonna talk about in addition to cover calls. I found something that might be very lucrative. I'm not sure if it quite works. So I don't want to mention it now and like lead people astray. But I think there's a really good chance this has potential for like 150% returns or something like crazy.
Wow.
And I think it's mostly safe too. But again, I don't want to like, I don't want to be like, hey, try this, and like, you know, people lose money on it. Like, it seems hard to lose money on it. I just don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work. It's something similar to cover calls, but I will be experimenting these next 2 months. It's something you do every week. But again, like it has to do with cover calls, but it's like something. It's like with ETFs too. Like it's cover calls with ETFs, like certain ETFs. But and I don't. I'll save it for later. If this doesn't work, then you could just forget about it because then you can't make money that way. But if it does, if I find I'm making myself like good money over the next 2 months, then I'll definitely like share it with you guys. But I just again this may not work. This sounds like one of those scams that we're talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Those Nigerian princes of all, but
yeah.
like I'll actually like show you guys like the numbers, and I have like I spent before the combine started on Friday. I spent like time like working Excel sheet numbers about this and like how it would work, and like it like it's really promising. I just like I don't know if like the brokerages will allow you to do it. Like you know, it's like and like I've done it like for 2 weeks already, and it's not illegal. It's not illegal. Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely a legal thing, but like it just seems like too good to be true. That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like I don't know. Again, it has
I'm
to
still
do with cover
interested to hear
calls.
more.
Yeah. No, I will talk about it eventually. And if it doesn't work, I'll tell you what I was doing, and like maybe you'll have other ideas. But
Right.
again, I don't want to like be like, hey, like I'm doing this, and like people try it, and then like, you know,
Yeah, this is not financial advice.
not yet.
It's not. Just say that for now.
No. Look, I'll say this. I've said this before. This is financial advice. You should be selling cover calls. That is 100% financial advice because you can't lose money on that. The reason why people say this is not financial advice is because they you know, people could lose money and then they could get sued. But it's actually financial advice to sell cover calls if you have shares of a stock that you like, because then first of all, it's safe, and second, you make money on it, and it's free money. So that is 100% financial advice. And like this thing I'm cryptically talking about, it is covered calls too. So I don't know, it might end up being financial advice too. John Sanders says, which you hate more, soccer or golf? to John, and then it's Johnson soccer by far. So at least we're not talking about soccer. Gene Hackman going to show up on the pro this year.
You guys.
I have some theory. I have some conspiracy theories about that one. John says I stopped watching once Tiger got busted for sex addiction. Was never the same after that. Is that true? Is that why you stopped? Would that be the Cadaver Classic? Man, is Ben Griffin a guest on his show? Ben Griffin, not quite. That's Ben Wassley is the guest. The ball sort of looked like the same. The golf ball's a lot smaller. Maybe you should post your top 15 now. Yeah, maybe I should. And like, you know what's gonna happen? I'll post my top 15, and like next week it'll be the 16th guy, and then like eventually I'm just posting my whole model.
Yeah.
But I'll say that Jake Knapp was like not in anywhere close. So like, where was Jake Knapp? Jake Knapp was 86th. I don't know how he's doing well here. Like he's like not bad with his irons. He's not bad at the putter, but like he's wildly inaccurate. So I don't know. It feels like he has potential to like hit the ball in the water or something tomorrow. I wouldn't look. He could definitely win. He's won on the PGA. He's a good golfer, but I just don't think this course fits him. And I think it's more likely that he will self-destruct. We have a super chat by Slew.
Thank you, Slew.
555 super chat from Slew. Thank you so much, Slew. Okay, Quacky. Who is the greater Russian composer, Rachmaninoff or Tchaikovsky? Walt, did you get a chance to ask your mom and or your housekeeper? Housekeeper should ask. I haven't seen my mom, so I apologize for that. I usually see my mom over the weekends. I usually take my son or pick up my son on Friday from her house, and then we go for dinner on Saturday. But with the combine, I just haven't done that. So my wife picked up my son on Friday, and then we didn't go to my parents this today because of the combine. But I promise I will ask her that the next time I see her. So I mean, Quacky, this is your wheelhouse, right? I mean, you were a music major, so you have
Yeah,
to have a good answer.
Rachmaninoff, and it's not even close.
Really?
Yeah, I like him a lot better. I always enjoyed his piano works.
What's his best work?
Oh, geez, I don't know.
Are you in the mode where, like,
Concerto number 2.
okay, I listened to
In
that.
C minor, maybe. Geez, I haven't listened to this stuff in so long. But no, I mean Tchaikovsky's good too. But I like Rachmaninoff a lot better.
Um, it's, when I asked you like what you like or like which piece of work you like the best from Rachmaninoff, I thought you're gonna be like, now I can't think of any piece from Rachmaninoff.
That sounds like something. Yeah. Well, remember we were guessing like the top 5 NFL ranked players last year, and you're like, it's a running back. I couldn't think of a number. You're like, it's a running back, and you're like, he's really good. And it's just like, I can't think of any NFL player that ever played right now. Like
Yeah, I know,
anyone's
right?
name.
I know you always need, like, I feel like when I'm like on the spot like that, you need to see a list.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same way. It's like you ever have someone ask you like, what are your favorite movies, and I can't think of any movie ever made or that I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's
It's
why
like, I
you
don't know.
have to have a like in advance. You have to have like answers.
Right.
So
No, I agree. See, this just furthers my point as to why, you have that duty to donate my brain to science if you outlive me.
yes, I
So
do.
we need to figure out what the hell's going on.
I do.
Oh, Sue likes Rachmaninoff better too. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. I like Tchaikovsky more, honestly.
Okay. Okay.
Although
No, that's fair. I have nothing against him. I just.
Moonlight Sonata is my favorite classical music song.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay.
Well, it's first of all, it's in Resident Evil, so you have to like that.
Right. Right. Oh man, good. That's from the archives.
Yes, and second, my son, when he was a infant, they would for some reason always calm him down. Moonlight
Really?
Sonata. So yeah,
Interesting.
so yeah, that ended up being my favorite piece of classical music. But I think this came up because have you? I mean, you're big into video games. Have you ever played or heard of Ori, the video game? It's like there are 2 Ori games. There's like Ori and the Blind Forest is the first one, and then like
No.
I don't know what the second one is, but I haven't played that one yet. But
no. What system is it on? Or
it's on the Switch. It's like it's a Nintendo sort of game.
how do you spell Ori? Robert Ori?
Just hits 3s. No, it's ORI.
ORI. I haven't heard of it.
It's really good. Actually, it reminds me of Metroid, where it's like this big world. It's like a labyrinth, and like you can go different places, but like certain places are blocked off until you get abilities and stuff like that. But it is. I love the music in that game. I think it's tremendous. And it's like, man, it's sad too. It like brought like tears in my eyes like at some point in the game. It was like Bambi moments, kind of like at the beginning of the game. It's like a huge tearjerker too. It's
Wow.
it's great game. I love.
I'm looking it up right now.
I just beat it yesterday.
Wow.
It was a really cool game. Basically, you're basically like this sort of like small fox or like rabbit, and you're basically like traversing this huge forest that like it's like there's a lot of parasites in the forest, like there's slugs and there's like infected things. So like this game's like merciless. Like anything can kill you. It's like it's crazy, but you can save a lot, so it's like it's not like super frustrating. But they're like the main bad guy in this game is this like huge owl or hawk or some kind of bird, and it thinks that you want to kill its baby eggs, or it thinks it kills you. It thinks you killed its baby eggs, and so like it tries to kill you. And anytime like it hits you, and it's instant kill because like it's this huge bird that like just swoops you up and like eats you. They don't show the eating, but like basically that's what it is.
Yeah.
And so like there's one segment in the game like the birds in the background just staring at you, and like or it's just trying to find you, and like you have to hide behind trees and stuff like that. And they played this like serial killer type music to it. It's so cool. Like you have to like run and as soon as you're out in the open, the eyes light up and like it starts to fly, and like you have to hide behind another tree, and it's like this huge a horror movie type of vibe in that area of the game.
Is it scary too? I mean,
No, it's not a scary game. No, it's not a scary game. It's like, but it's like I said, it's like an exploratory game. Like you traverse the forest and like,
yeah, I'm watching some of it right now.
Well, it's great. It's great. The reason I said I love the music. I think the music's like perfect for like the gameplay. Like it's like it matches up so well. Like the music's really good, but like sometimes the music's like playful, like sometimes like really sad. Like it's like perfect, like the perfect music for it. Like it's so rare. Like a lot of video game music is good, but sometimes it doesn't line up. You know, like in this, it really does. I thought it was really well done.
Wow, interesting. Now I'm looking this up. Maybe I'll try this out. I can buy it on Steam here.
You should play it on your stream.
Oh, that'd be an interesting idea. I should. I'm due to try something new out. So
yeah, you should do it. You should do it. I'll chime in with some.
Oh, okay. Maybe I will do that.
Yeah.
But,
Quacky having a hard time believing Walt didn't have an E-Trade set up in his son's crib. they do their accounts for sure. Anyway, as far as betting golf, sorry, John, we're talking about sports betting here, not golf. As far as betting here, like I said, I don't think Jake Knapp is that good for this course, and plus he's the favorite, so like anything could go wrong, and he's not that far ahead. It's not like he's 4 or 5 strokes ahead. He's 1 stroke ahead of. Let's pull up the. I think is it Michael Kim? Yeah, Michael Kim's. Michael Kim in my model is not as low as Knapp is, I believe. I think he's like 20. He's 20th. So yeah, man, Michael Kim's a really good golfer. He's in good form. He could win this for sure. So if I had to bet like one of these guys at the very top, right now, I think it is. I think it's Michael Kim. So he's 5-1. Russell Henley, we have him at 25-1. He's 6-1 right now. And I mentioned I like Ben Griffin and I like Doug Gim. I think that Gim is a solid value at 11-1. I think if you're going to bet anything right now, I think Gim at 11-1 is pretty decent. And Griffin, I would say second place, and then Michael Kim's in third place. Of course, if you haven't bet Henley yet, I think this is the best bet. I think he's the best golfer, as I said. He and Sepulon Straka they're the 2 best golfers near the top. So 22-1's there. I know Daniel Berger was steamed a lot. Like he opened like 30-1 and he jumped to like 18-1. Like everyone was betting Daniel Berger, and I had him 12th in my model. I thought that was like not a bad bet, but I just thought that like the odds weren't that good. So Berger right now, I think he's, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's 12 under. Yeah, he's 12 under too. So if you want to follow the chalk, Ben Griffin's not a bad bet either. JJ Spawn, I think, was pretty high in my model as well, if I'm not mistaken. Spawn is actually 8th in my model. If you look on the site, he's number 8. Or maybe he was number 9 because Lee Hodges was up there and he got scratched. So Spawn was either 8th or 9th, and he's 12 under. So I'd rather have Straka. Obviously, Straka's way higher, in my model than Spawn was. But Spawn is 30-1. So I think that's like if you want to look at like a long shot right now, I think Spawn at 30-1 is pretty good. So that's where I stand right now. I'm going to be watching all day tomorrow. Well, that's not true. The combine's on. Never mind. I'm not going to be watching, but I will be watching the scoreboard on my computer. And when the combine ends, maybe I'll tune in. I don't know I don't know if the combine starts at 1 or 3 tomorrow. I have to figure that out. But hopefully I get to watch some golf. That'd be nice. But yeah, no, if I like something, I will post it if I see a good opportunity. But like I said, right now, Gim 11-1, Spawn 30-1 for a long shot, and Griffin at a plus 750. Those are the 3 bets I would make right now. But yeah, hopefully Henley just takes it down, or Straka or Damon. I think one of them would be nice. Grim is 14-1 in my Crummy ESPN book. Yeah, ESPN bet sucks. ESPN bets it stinks. It's not as bad as Bovado. They'll actually pay you out, but they'll limit you super quickly. So it's one of those cheap sites that as soon as you win something, they'll be like, nah, we don't want your actions. Like, like why do you own sportsbook if you're gonna do that? Stupid.
Seriously.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, that's about it for tonight's show. So
Quacky's
thank you
getting
guys.
tired. Huh?
I know you're getting
comes
tired.
with age, man. It's just like,
well, I'm older than you. I'm holding up pretty well.
yeah, you have a good.
I don't sleep.
You have a good routine, though. You have a good routine. No, I mean, not that I don't, but I mean, my work schedule is more variable than yours, so I'll blame. Well, that's what we'll go with. That's what we'll go with.
All right, guys. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. All that would be really appreciated, and thank you so much to John Sanders for the $5 super chat, and Slew for the $5.55 super chat. So just really appreciate it, guys. Just it helps so much. I can't say that enough. We'll be back on Tuesday. Charlie will be on again next week to talk about who did well at the combine, plus any news and stuff that he may have heard of. I don't know if it's going to be Tuesday or Thursday. I think probably Thursday. Kenny, I assume it's going to be Wednesday. He hasn't told me otherwise. So I don't know if we're going to have a guest on Tuesday or not, but either way, we'll be back on Tuesday. So I'll be able to talk to you then. So have a great rest of your weekend. Have fun watching the final day of the combine, and go Henley / Straka / Damon. All right, Tom, do you have anything to plug before we head out?
I guess the Twitch. I haven't been on there in some time. I've been busy and everything. You know how it goes, and I get tired. But I'll be back. Maybe I will really consider streaming that Ori and the Blind Forest game.
Yeah.
But hey, I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for the super chats, guys. Thanks for the banter. I always have such a great time with all of you, and of course with you, Walter. It's always a lot of fun, man. I always know we're gonna have a lot of laughs. So, and we never know what we're gonna get into.
yeah. I didn't anticipate talking about Nigerian Prince scam artists, but we had a lot of fun doing it. So yeah, 100%. Yeah, I look forward to next week. But yeah, once again, guys, have a great night, and I'll talk to you later.